Welcome in, Par, to another week of One Piece. Today we got chapter 1116, Conflict. And I'm conflicted.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Because Oda let loose a raging criminal in this cover page story. Orochima
Which one?
is front and center here.
I said which one?
The sumo wrestler maniac is in the background. And hey, he might not technically be a bad guy because his worst crime was trying to hit, Okiku. And who didn't want to hit Okiku back in the day? So I think that's very fair. But his real crime, in my opinion, was that we wasted an entire episode on him in the anime. We spent like 5 minutes going back and forth with our sumo hands, and now it's just awful. Did you watch the anime for that?
Yes, I was anime only at the time.
I feel bad
That was
for you.
one of my breaking points.
Yeah,
that was
the
definitely...
Orochima episode was your breaking point. So Yamato's receiving some medicine and some dumplings, which is a weird combo, right? Like normally when you go to grandma's, they'll give you food, but they don't give you food and medicine. It's like one or the other. So Yamato getting both is kind of strange.
I mean, but we've never been on a pilgrimage, so like, what would we know?
Yeah, but what pilgrimage would you have to go to need
I don't know.
medicine? Like what? Do you get attacked by bears along the road, or like do you get like hit with poisonous needles?
I mean, people do There's pilgrimages that exist today, but we have the benefit of planes and stuff. Yamato has to walk. But again, she's also a wolf. Hey, here's a question: do you think she should do the pilgrimage in wolf form?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. I would enjoy. Yeah, I think I would enjoy the cover story a lot more if she did the entire thing in wolf form.
No, I agree. Yeah,
Like,
just hop in the wolf form and just roam around Wano.
You know why that's also important? Because maybe that'll help her become awakened. Because the wolf is supposed to be the protector of the people, the guardian of like Wano's people or whatever. Like the what is it? The Makoto. I forgot the name of the wolf. The reference that Yamato's
Okuchi no
wolf
Makami.
is, yes, that one is supposed to be the protector of people. Plus, in the story, Kaido said that it's the guardian of Wano. So Yamato should do the pilgrimage in wolf form and just never talk.
Or hybrid form.
Hybrid form would be fine, but I think like full, because like I also just like I like the full Zoan forms. Like
Really?
when Lucci went into Jaguar form the first time and he was like jumping off of like ship masts and stuff, I thought it was cool. I didn't think that he should have done that the entire time. But like this is a cover story. I think it's like we've seen enough of Yamato. Like Oda doesn't need more clickbait. He doesn't need more,
I will argue against that because I always want clickbait. Yeah, I like the way Yamato looks, so it's like, I want to spend some time with Yamato's not part of the crew. This is all we're getting. I want the Yamato,
Yeah, but you didn't want Yamato to join the crew, did you?
No, I did.
Oh, you were in that boat?
Yeah, I still do. I
end it here.
I'm one of those guys, dude. I still believe Yamato's joining. I just don't wear it on my sleeve. How people are saying, oh, like Yamato, why would she join anymore? But like, I'm one of those guys. Like, how like the Wano samurai, they have that crescent moon on their foot because they're stupid. That's me right now with Yamato.
Yeah. I remember now because like when we first started collabing, it was right after Wano, and I think one of the first questions was like, "So Par, I haven't really spoken to you before. This is my first time meeting you. How do you feel about Yamato joining the crew?"
How do you feel about Yamato coming? Do you think it'll happen?
That was your icebreaker to measure our friendship, and then I was like, I think that she should stay on Wano. I don't think she. And you were like, damn, Par, I don't think we could be friends. But then here we are. So that should tell you guys, it should be a lesson. Even if you disagree with someone vehemently or whatever that. Why did that word pop up in my brain? I got a word, but whatever. Even if you disagree, you can stand to talk with them every week for the next 2 years.
But it becomes painful now that Yamato is front and center again.
Yeah. Dang. So I see why you asked for the middle ground, because I wanted a wolf form. You like Yamato. You so hybrid form. That's the middle. I think Oda did a good system there, because like if you don't like the character and then you get the thing, at least there's the middle ground of hybrid or the full form, right? So
yeah.
I'd be kind of upset though if Yamato never turned into the wolf.
I think they will. Yeah, she'll definitely become a wolf in here. Like I feel like this isn't going to go down super smooth. Like there's got to be some sort of conflict here or there. You know, maybe some beast pirates just roaming around, some stray Orochi supporter, some bandits.
Oh, you know what'd be sick though?
Someone's
at the
gonna
end
be
of
here.
this, because like you said, like Blackbeard coming to Wano. Like I'd love it if like we start getting inklings of Blackbeard going to there, and then it collides in the cover story. But it would be sick to have a face off of Yamato's wolf and Katarina Devon's like fox, like the nine-tailed fox.
Yeah,
And then like just like a straight up like Oda could do like a tribute to Naruto with that too. You know, like dang, that'd be sick.
that wouldn't be bad. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think we got
Yamato
some.
versus Devon.
Yeah.
See, if Yamato joins the crew, that could be the matchup.
No, it's fine.
No, Yamato's still joining. Damn it, it's gonna happen one day.
No, you sound like the Carrot fans waiting for that one Carrot chapter. Was it this chapter or was it the last chapter?
It was last chapter
right?
with Carrot. Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, the Carrot fans, they were delusional. I
yeah,
am a man of logic.
Talk about the
A man of
calling
reason.
the kettle black or whatever. Is that the phrase? I think it is.
So we need either Yamato or Bonnie to join the crew, and I think it's gonna be Yamato.
What about Vivi?
You know how much I hate Vivi. Why
Yeah, but
are you doing this
Vivi-
part?
Vivi shows up in the chapter too. What's wrong with Vivi, huh?
Nobody likes Vivi Par.
Oh, there's a certain silhouetted, flat-chested figure in this chapter that would disagree.
That's Lily. Lily's different. See, Vivi doesn't have the personality, right? Vivi
know what
just
they
has
always
the
say,
looks.
They always say when you're like looking to marry, your wife, or like before you get married, look at the mom because then that's a good litmus test of what your wife will end up looking like.
Before you get married, look at the mom. I've never heard that one.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's a
No.
common thing. So that's the same thing with Vivi because Vivi's mom, who apparently isn't related to the royal family, whereas Cobra is, Titi looks like Vivi. Lily looks like Vivi. We don't know how Titi has the lineage, but Cobra is definitely related. So it's like Titi and Cobra are probably brother and sister. Vivi, they keep it in the family. I don't know why I'm saying this, but the point is that uh, Lily was definitely on Joy Boy's crew, right? So to a certain extent, spread out the poneglyphs.
Well, no.
Sounds like a very straw hat. I would think that that's really useful, right?
It doesn't sound like Lily was a part of the Joy Boy crew though.
As far as non-straw hat, if the Straw Hats had a message to perpetuate, right? And we had three people outside of the crew, Carrot, Yamato, and Vivi. And Vivi was the one who sent out all the messages. And Yamato was just sitting her ass on Wano, and Carrot was sitting her ass on an elephant, right? I'm pretty sure I would regard Vivi as more of a Straw Hat for sending out the message than Carrot.
Well, okay, but no. But here's the thing, though. Like, when we think of a straw hat,
she's getting dumplings.
Wait. When we think of a straw hat, it's somebody who's on the ship, though, right? Like a Nakama, a part of the crew.
Yeah, I'm saying closer to it because Yamato's not on the crew. I know that hurts for you to admit. At the moment, she's not there.
I'm fine. Yamato's not a part of the crew yet. It's a long con. It's the long con par. It's one of those things that take time. It's like hatching a dragon egg,
Okay, I just want to have a parallel. I want to have a parallel discussion here. We talked about ZKK Crocomom on stream yesterday, right? And we said you said that instead of going back at time and with the guy with World War II, instead of ending that baby, you would want to stop the guy from making the Crocomom theory, and that would be better the world. And then in line with Crocomom, ZKK at the top of the worst meme theories that spread out and caused so much brain rot in the community. Where do you put Carrot joining the crew? Is that
Carrot joining the crew?
Yeah.
I think that is worse than ZKK.
Okay, Carrot joining the crew. Okay. Let's get dissect that a little bit more.
I think
Carrot's
it's I think it's
still going
because
to join the crew.
I think it's because I
You
don't
remember?
like Carrot, so I put Carrot at the very top.
Okay. So, but okay, there's people who thought that Carrot was going to join the crew, and then there's people who still like. Now, I'm not saying right now. I know there are some, but like I'm talking about, like we were like 20 chapters into Egghead, and there were like Carrots in the barrel inside Caribou or
I've
something.
seen those. I've seen
Yeah. So
those.
like that's up there, right, with the worst, right? Like,
Yes.
okay. So like people who think that a character is going to join the crew well beyond their, tenure in
It's
the series.
because the reason why the Carrot one didn't make too much sense is because we didn't have any inclination of that in Whole Kick Island. We got to Wano, and then Carrot was essentially sidelined.
Hmm.
Yamato, I would argue, had a pivotal role on Onigashima.
Hmm.
Lineage
Yeah.
wise, still a pivotal role. Luffy
Hmm.
offered the whole thing like, hey, you could be a Straw Hat if you want. Just let us know. We'll come get you. And
Yeah.
then here's the thing, though. Yamato is still relevant after Wano, unlike Carrot. Carrot, like I said,
Hmm.
Zoe, great. Whole Kick Island wasn't really there. Wano wasn't really there. But Yamato is still front and center.
Well,
So I
what's
would say Yamato
interesting?
stocks look pretty good right now.
Would you say that the cover stories are more important than the chapter itself?
Wait, there's a chapter?
Well, I'm just asking because, we've visited Wano like maybe 4 times in the last few chapters to get updates about the reactions. Yamato hasn't been in a single one, has she?
No.
But you know who was last chapter? The Duchess of the Mokomo Dukedom.
Nobody cares about Carrot though. But that's the thing though. Like Yamato has nothing tying her here to Wano. Like she's only staying so she could travel around like Odin,
But
right?
they're
And then
the
eventually
guardian
she's
of
gonna set sea.
they're the
Carrot
guardian
is
of
gonna stay in
uh-huh.
Zoe as the ruler.
Yeah, but Zoe is moving. It's like, you know what I mean?
But it
Like
doesn't.
it
It's
could
not
be
always gonna
anywhere.
move the same way that Straw Hats need to go though.
Apparently all Momo needs to do is like, yo, elephant boy, and then he just comes
Like
through.
the thing is that Yamato becoming a Nakama is way more plausible than Carrot becoming a Nakama.
You know what's funny about this? I forget. It was like Hidden Island had a stream a
And then
long time
Bonnie's like a
ago.
little bit higher, of course.
Fair.
Yeah. Bonnie's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean Bonnie. Ever since Bonnie got introduced, it's like a like the stocks of like how much. I think like Oda has made Bonnie's arc way more like, I won't even say valuable. Like it's just insane like how fast and how quick we care about her. Um and it's not even like direct. It's like through via Kuma and stuff like that. We haven't even seen her journey. Technically we know all of it. It's just like it's just kind of crazy. I mean, once we know more about Ginny too, we'll understand a lot of stuff. Um, yeah, it's funny on the Yamato thing because like Hidden Island had a stream a while back, and I was a Joy Boy versus Threevil and Dax, and I won the competition. I convinced everyone in the chat that Yamato was more valuable to the raid than Zoro, and that was that was it's a good debate. If you guys want to go see that one, I clipped it out. But yeah, it's a fun time. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at your agendas. I like most of your agendas. It's understandable.
Hey, Yamato's gonna be great. Just wait, guys.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she has a lot of great assets.
Exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
hey, with Wano having Pluton, with Wano having a road poneglyph, I think we could see something pretty big here.
Do you think Momo, on his own, independently, will release Pluton? I mean, actually, I wanted to ask that question later in the chapter, but
Yeah.
so I mean, we could start, or we could talk about that now if you wanted.
Will Momonosuke release Pluton willingly? No. I hope
No.
not. I hope not.
Yeah, I was just wondering because like because of the news, there's no way for him to like. How does he coordinate with like outside of himself, right? Like, how does he? The only person he can consult with is Zunisha. It's not like he has a line to Luffy or anything. Like, hey, should I do? Hey, Joy Boy, do I do this now? Like, he has no. He has to make the decision unless someone either forces his hand or he like decides like, oh, this is the time. And so I was thinking about like this chapter, especially it's like, well, if there's an ancient weapon being weaponized to destroy islands, and they're sitting on an ancient weapon, and he is the sole like wielder of that power, then what? Either his hand gets forced and he has to choose, or he just chooses. And I'm thinking, I was actually thinking like those are really likely. I don't know if like Luffy has to return for him to decide. I think that between Blackbeard showing up and then him like releasing it, like I feel like Momo might just decide based off of what Vegapunk's message is, right?
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
it's
I
kind of
mean,
interesting.
because the news about the ancient weapon is just like it's just gone out. So the fact that he's hearing that there's like, you know, two other ancient weapons that the world is sinking right now, he might feel the need to just break it open. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised
that,
if like by the end he's like, okay guys, like let's do it. Let's finally break open the borders, which is really silly by the way, if he does it right now. Like it's only been like 2 weeks after Onigashima, so he might as well have just done it back then. But
yeah,
it'd be like that.
I don't care as much as like Momo doing it. I care more about the Gorosei because they had the goofiest line. They're like, whoever, haha, their walls are still up. But whoever did that must be a genius strategist.
Yeah, they're really
like,
smart. It's like, brother, the walls aren't that crazy. Like, I mean, just use the goldfish. Just get up there. There's like a whole port.
Yeah. And
like I don't know what they're talking about.
Because they're like, oh, they're impenetrable walls. And now we know they can instant teleport anywhere in the world, basically.
Yeah, you just need like one person over there.
Yeah, even if that might not even be a restriction. It might turn out that they could just boom, poof anywhere. It's just that they didn't want to because it's beneath them to do so. But like we don't even know the ramifications of
Here's
those...
a good one. Wait. 5 of the Gorosei members versus all of Wano. Like not including Luffy and the gang and them. Like just Scabbards.
In Yamato?
Yeah, Scabbards and Yamato.
I don't think all of Wano can like deal like as much as we meme on the regeneration. I think that's if 5 of them, I think that they're too powerful. Like
yeah,
they are powerful. Like I feel like Venus shows up, they're kind of squashed. Like don't get me wrong, Oimo and Kashi are making me debate my insanity right now, but like
Oimo, Kashi, Dorian, Brogy, yeah, you never know. Like what if we get back to Wano and then they're like, you know what, we were nerfed the entire time because we were under Orochi's regime, we were nerfed heavily during the raid, but now we can fight the Gorosei on even footing.
It could be like, you know, like those Murim, like the cultivation manhwas and stuff like that, where it's like in 2 weeks they go from like a peasant guy to a god, and like all they needed was like this special thing. And like Yamato going on this pilgrimage is literally like the plot of one of those things where it's like they were here at this point and then they become like the ultimate being of the entire universe all in 3 weeks. Like that, hey, maybe Wano does that. Maybe Sukiyaki finally tells them that, hey guys, there's fresh water over there. Like you guys can finally drink. I think that would be enough of a buff. The fresh water.
What if the fresh water is the Gorosei's weakness? Not like salt water, but fresh water. And that's like Wano's ultimate defense that they're scared of.
They're the stankiest people. How do they shower?
Hey, they use salt water to shower, or they use like baby wipes.
I guess salt water isn't a bad way to shower, right? We don't.
Or they use like the spit of slaves.
That is
what it's Marie's Raw. They have slaves over there, so it's like I don't know, like they gotta incorporate them somehow.
I was like, my brain in that moment was flashing through all the fiction I've ever consumed in my entire life. Just think of any kind of parallel, any instant. I think you said one of the most unique sentences ever. What if they showered in the spit of their slaves? I don't think even.
I had like a flashback to like Game of Thrones when I said that, where Cersei was walking down the street,
and
everybody's like spitting on her. Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't want that. Like she didn't choose. She didn't have her pipes lined up with.
Okay. Imagine that, but like consensual, right?
That's honestly hard to imagine. Honestly, like considering I can't think of another instance ever where that was ever a desirable thing.
Okay, so if you can't shower with like fresh water, what would you shower with?
No, I think seawater, like you can't, I think, right? Like, because seawater would be a natural exfoliant. Like, I think it's probably good for your skin. We just can't put it through our pipes because the salt and stuff would degrade our pipes, right?
Oh, easy. You could just have somebody like bring you a bucket of salt water then.
Yeah, I don't see why that would be an issue. I feel like salt water. Don't surfers have luscious hair? I feel like that has
Do
to do with
they?
the salt water. Yeah, you.
I always
Whenever
thought
I
that was
think of
like
a
fake
surfer,
propaganda.
no, I'm pretty sure every time what about Baywatch? Isn't Baywatch's entire movie is that these lifeguards who live on
But
the
that's a
beach and
movie
in the water?
though.
You don't wait. That wasn't real.
The movie wasn't real part.
Wait, what? Dwayne the Rock Johnson isn't a lifeguard. What about his brother?
Dwayne doesn't
Curtis
even have hair.
Bowles?
You know, Dwayne
What
the Rock
about?
Johnson has hair products.
Well, we don't know where else he has hair.
So, Otsuru, we actually see her burn scar in this chapter. They're in the
Bright
cover
and
page.
center.
Yeah,
She might as well be Sabo's sister.
it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
on
a big
her.
fan of it. Yeah, good on her. Wear that
Yeah,
scar
she
with
could be.
pride.
Do you remember the small? There was a small. I'm not. I'm gonna say they were probably countable in my hands. When the man marked by flame thing came out, there was a few people that said, "What about Suru? She got a burn scar." I was like, "Stop it, stop it. We left her on Wano for good. Like,
Yeah,
she's not
maybe
showing up on a
Suru
show."
has the fourth road poneglyph. She's the woman marked by flames. Yeah,
There was a few people. They might even tweeted it at. I don't know. If
I
it
think
was
they're
just on
trolling
one.
you, Par. They're trolling you.
No, no, these people were serious because remember, we made it like a spreadsheet. Not a single person. Everyone was so angry about who they chose. They're like, "Are you stupid? It's Saul. Are you stupid? It's this guy. Are you?" They literally it was every sentence became with, "Are you stupid? It's this," and I kid you not. Suru seriously came up in discussion because she was the last person we talked about with a new burn scar. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. She just got the burn
She
scar.
just got the burn scar. Imagine kids like, oh, like I heard, the man marked by flames is here somewhere. I have no clue where they are. And then Suru's like just 1 mile away.
Yeah, and then Suru's no,
insane.
but like Suru has like like the saying what's like when you sneeze, someone says your name, and so like
Yeah.
every time that we next time someone says the man marked by flames, we just see a Suru sneezing. Oh shit, that'd be
Ooh.
crazy.
Imagine that's the next cover page. Just Suru sneezing, just no explanation.
Yeah, she has like a dark, like she has like a sinister face.
Yeah.
Like this. Oh, like this, like her rubbing her hands, and one side is like really happy, and then this burn scar side is like dark. And
It's frowning.
sinister. Yeah.
And then her eyes open, but you can see in the reflection of her eye, it's a road poneglyph.
Yo, this is the most like
Sounds so
that
silly.
cover story would be crazy. We'd have to like dissect the reflection of her eyeball.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
So-
Watch, Oda's gonna do that.
For the cover page, on the bottom left, is that Osame?
Bro, I don't know. She doesn't have a rat, so it's probably not. No,
Oh,
it is.
you're
Oh,
right.
she does have the rat. It's
Does
in her
she?
hand.
Really?
Yeah, in her hand. Yeah, in her hand. Why like it's like this. She has like a little thing.
That's not the rat. I mean, it's covered up though. You can't see it.
No, you can. It's right in front of her bosom.
What?
Yeah. You're bottom left, right? The girl with the
Yes.
hearts? That's definitely her.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you did this, I thought you meant like the rat is like in this hand.
No, it's in front. That's why I said the bosom. I figured you.
Oh
looked
yeah.
at the wrong hands.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're a gentleman, you would never look there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I see the rat. It kind of looks like a squiggle, like a squiggly line, but
Hey, Oda squiggles make us. That's what gets us going sometimes, you know.
yeah. Whenever Oda's pen hits that page, I get crazy. I start foaming at the mouth. I'm like, yes. Is that?
Yeah, like
who is that?
Like,
Is that Chuji? Chuji the mouse, is that you?
I can confidently say I'm not like that because when Bogard showed up in the chapter, I didn't even notice. Everybody else noticed, and they told me in my reaction. And I was like, oh, wow, you guys care a lot about Bogard. That's crazy because I made a whole video and I didn't even care if he showed up in the thing. But then he showed up in the thing, and then the world told me, and I was like, that's sick, you know?
Do you
And
know
he
what's
is
kind
more
of
than the
crazy?
squiggle. What?
What that confirms to me is that you're good at seeing people in One Piece and finding people, but you don't know who they are.
Oh, with the Roshio
Yeah,
thing
like
too?
it's like the Roshio thing. Like you get like 90% there, and then everybody else just pushes you that 10%. You're like Deku from My Hero. Like you bring the villain to their knees, and they're about to like goon out, and then we are like all like we're all the predecessors of your power, and we're just like putting our hands on your back, and then you
Hey,
finish them off.
I'm okay with being the main character, but Deku's really egregious. I can't believe you
Have
said
you seen
that.
Deku's haircut?
No, you told me about it though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think that's as far as I need to know. He told you about
it's a
it.
funny haircut. He,
The fact that like of all the things that you've consumed over the last week, you decided Deku's hair is the one thing I'm gonna bring up the
yeah,
bar industry.
I think there's
That
more
says
emotion
enough.
behind Deku's new haircut versus the actual ending of the series.
Oh, the series ended?
It's ending pretty soon, yeah.
Ah,
All the
damn.
fighting is over, which isn't
Like he's
the spoiler.
graduating high
But
school?
yeah.
Is that like the like
What's up?
because my thing is because they called it My Hero Academy, like so surely after he graduates the academy, he's gonna the series ends, or does he become a professor? Oh, and he stays at the academy.
No, I think he just goes back to school. So the mangaka like they left out a message saying, "Oh, I never like it when manga ends abruptly after the final fight, so I'm gonna drag this on for the next couple of months, and I want to go back
Awkward
to the
moment.
title of the series, which is the academy part."
Oh,
So
he probably asked. He'd probably talked to Oda about that. He probably
yeah,
asked
ending
Oda
too
Sensei.
fast.
Yeah, just how to end stuff and things like that. Like they, I mean, they all talk about that stuff. Like Kishimoto and Oda talked about it when Naruto was ending, and like on call and off call because they did an interview. And I'm sure Horikoshi, because Horikoshi was like asking for advice in interview and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and then there's also like
yeah.
Bleach with Kubo. After the final fight, I think the manga ended like a chapter or two later, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty crazy. The first page of this, we see Vegapunk's message, we see people, reacting to it, and we see the picture of who we think is Lily, and it's like, dude, like 800 years have passed, and this is the only picture you have of her. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
You're not
there
even
could
a
have,
good stalker.
yeah, there could have been like better pictures of Lily out there, right?
Yeah. What if Emu's only mad at Cobra because Lily didn't he didn't Emu never got the letter. Like if Emu got the letter also like a copy, he wouldn't be as mad, you know?
That could be.
Like they're just a mega stalker, like a mega fan, and they just like, oh, I want everything, Lily. I desire Lily.
Give
I
it
want
to
the
me.
offsprings. Yeah, yeah. But hey, that might be a truth too hard to swallow. Probably the best part of this page.
Oh yeah, the freaking editor note. A truth too hard to swallow. That's a crazy line. I wonder if the Viz is gonna go with. I feel like they will though.
The
Yeah.
Viz doesn't translate those. They skip
Oh, do they
those.
not? They skip it.
Yeah, yeah, because they don't get that. That's the Shonen Jump, so they get the digital copy before the thing shows up. So
Mm,
that's why I was always confused. I was like, wait, where are these in the Viz? But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Viz doesn't have that because they don't get that copy.
damn.
But this is the Shonen Jump editor. That's not Oda's editor, which is why Viz doesn't get it
You're
because they
telling me
don't.
the officials for One Piece doesn't get this? That's crazy.
Yeah, because the Viz is like Shonen Jump in a way, right? They're getting it from a source. The source is Oda's camp. Oda's camp gives it to Shonen Jump and gives it to Viz. So Shonen Jump writes this headline, "A truth too hard to swallow." That is their headline for their manga in their magazine, so that when readers look by, they read the headline of this thing, "A truth too hard to swallow." I love swallowing. I'd love to check out this chapter, and then they decide to read it this week because not all readers read One Piece weekly or
Yeah.
not concurrently, cohesively. They don't even read chapter to chapter, according to Oda. According to
Yeah.
Oda's statistics, apparently some people, a decent amount, a mentionable amount of people that are his audience don't read every chapter in line. So they'll read like chapter 116 and then 119 and whatever. So
I respect
it's
it.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So for Emu's room, does the ground look weird to you?
Yeah, it's not grass anymore.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
do you think it's grass still, or do you think it's like just like an artistic thing?
Maybe it's Eames a domain expansion.
Yeah. It kind of looks like there might be a map there. It looks like something out of Vegapunk's Egghead.
It's like, is this the room? Is this just the room that like that? Remember like that whole random mystery thing of like the invisible chamber or something like that, the invisible room that people get lost in. Is it just this? Like people just find themselves in this and Emu just eats them? Like I don't know.
I don't know. Like this. I mean, this is just the flower garden, right?
Yeah, but we haven't seen anyone besides the other like the attendants, right? So like I don't even know where this room is. Maybe this is the room.
Yeah, I have no clue. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we just kind of call it the flower garden, but it could be something completely different. It could just be the phantom room.
Yeah.
But it would be like
Yeah.
the lamest looking phantom room known to mankind. Like it's just grass, some lilies, and a
Well, I
picture of
mean,
Lily.
it's a phantom room to everybody else because like to them it's the like there's a
Well, yeah.
phantom.
Well, yeah, but it's just grass, though, you know? Like, when I think of a
Yeah.
phantom room, even if there is, like, a mystery man there, I'd be like, oh, it's a grass room, dude. It's
So
a
you
room of
said an
flowers.
interesting thing there. Are you because like there's some we can get some context here. Are you on team Manu? Manu? Emu is a man?
Emu's gender.
Yeah.
Um, I'm leaning towards it more now, yeah. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really care if it's a man or a girl at the end, as long as they look
Yeah.
cool. You know, I'm a big villain guy.
So
So I would say that because he has a picture of Lily, I'm more on the side that it's a guy. And plus, like, the dialogue kind of insinuates it too. Like, so, you know, they're talking about, like, hey, how can an 800-year-old war be going on? No one from back then is still alive, even today. And that's literally when we get Emu. And
uh-huh.
if we're saying this person right here is the same person from 800 years ago, then we're talking about Emu Nerona, who
Mhm.
did have the male honorific. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that is
according to
pretty
the book,
solid.
right? The book that like Ivankov was also reading, they used the male honorifics there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ivankov's the one who
yeah.
gave us that.
Yeah, and I for me the damning evidence, and it's not damning evidence, but I would say that this hurts a lot of the people who support the because like there was an art contest of what emu would look like, and they emu in every depiction was so well endowed that if you were to compare that to this very flat image where we get the side profile of emu, then if it's a girl, I think a lot of people would be disappointed. And there's nothing wrong with being, flat chested. I'm just saying that, silhouettes don't lie like this. You know what I mean? We see there would be there would be curvature there. And we and the other part of it is we know how much Oda loves curves. That's the thing. We know Oda. And
Yeah, wait,
Oda
wait, wait, wait. But wouldn't it be bad too if it's a guy? Like considering how
Oh,
slim they are.
Zoro's yeah, because Zoro's bigger chested than Nami too, right? You're
Yeah,
right.
well, yeah. Zoro like canonically has a bigger chest than Nami. I mean, even
Yeah,
Luffy has like the biceps. He's not like just a stick figure. I mean,
yeah.
Usopp, like Kaido, like a guy. Like no matter who's behind this silhouette, I think they're gonna look a little bit goofy unless this cape thing is like covering their entire body. Maybe it's like Harry's invisibility cloak. As far as Lily goes, why do you think Emu has that painting?
I don't know. It's so the context of that is so interesting because it's like why because
He likes mementos, man. Like the giant straw hat, the picture of Lily. Like what's next?
yeah, and the picture of Vivi and Luffy and Blackbeard and Shiroshi. And it's also weird because they cut up all those pictures. So and then it seems like they're mad at Lily too for doing the great mistake. At least now it's confirmed that like they can confirm that it was probably not a mistake, right? Like that
Yeah.
like uh, unless they're dumb, like based off that conversation with Cobra, I think you'd be well, I think you'd be missing some brain cells to think that it wasn't a mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I
And
mean,
so
they know that Lily betrayed them.
at least now, if 800 years wasn't enough to know that it was intentional, then the verbatim explicit truth of the letter and the descendant right in your face that you slaughtered right there should be it. And now you're just like, oh, I must look at this picture. And it's
Gotta
like,
reminisce.
yeah, I don't even know what that means, but I do like it is there's it's gonna be interesting because Oda's also emphasizing it too, right? Like it's such a large part of this room. This is like the first like concrete detail of this room that we know, besides like obviously flowers, the walls. I mean, the ground is changing apparently, but now this is like the first detail of this chamber of flowers that none of the Gorosei have shown up in, just Emu, and yet there's a picture of Lily here. So it it just further makes the context of the Void Century like complex and convoluted, right? Because the whole conundrum of it is who is on what side and what happened, right? Like if some of the super chats yesterday was talking about like proposing ideas that like, oh, the world government used the ancient weapons, or like the ancient kingdom made devil fruits, so sinking the planet was a prerogative of the world government to counter the devil fruits using the ancient weapon. And then I said the problem there is that they're using an ancient weapon, which would probably be from the ancient kingdom, and we know that because Joy Boy is the one who kept the ancient weapons going based off this chapter. So then it's like, because then it's on both sides. Then if the world government wants to sink the world to counter the devil fruits, well, Joy Boy is the reason why the ancient weapons still exist, apparently all of them. So it's like, huh, who's on what side? And now it's like Lily sent out the poneglyphs. That was a mistake, but they're the only person that we know of that is revered. And I say revered like not as like a this is reverence right here. The top of the world, the number one king, the person who sits at the top of the throne, they have a picture of Lily hanging on their wall. You know what I mean? They don't have. I don't see their kid. I don't
Well,
see
it's like
their
a long
parent.
lost lover, you know.
Yeah, but like it's like Big Mom. Big Mom had a picture of her mom. You know what I mean? Her mom, her adopted mom. Because
But
it's
that's
like
like a that's like a parental figure though. That's a little bit different than this.
but that's the point, right? Like this person is so like the amount of the reason why Big Mom cared about it. Like if you broke that picture, Big Mom would break, like literally break. Her in defenses would fall, all that stuff. That's so important, and that's what I'm saying about this Lily thing, where it's like you would think when Cobra said all that, that would be like breaking for her. That's like Big Mom finding out that Mother Caramel was trafficking her. You know what I mean? Like, what? I was being
I
trafficked
mean,
as a kid.
I like to imagine Emu isn't that dumb though, right? Like he probably knew that
We
Lily
don't
betrayed them
know.
a long time ago. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't know, but
Based off that conversation, it was
I like to
weird,
imagine that
right?
they are competent and they know like all of this already. That was just confirming it, and it's whatever. And then plus, like
It's
right after Cobra said that, right, he asked about the D. I mean, like
yeah,
Emu immediately stabbed him. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's also like because like the Gorosei, right? Like we don't even know how much they know. But then this chapter also breaks that wall of like what characters do or don't know with like when we in a little bit we'll see a Kainu reacting and said everything, and it's like, wait, what? You know too? Like so there's so much about like who knows what and who's on what side. Lily, what did Lily even because like to be on this wall, why isn't anyone else on this wall? There was 20 kings and Lily was just apparently one of them, right? From Alabasta. It's I'm not saying it's odd that they're here. Obviously, we know that there's a separation here for Lily. It's just what's the relationship of reverence here that Emu Neurona or Neurona Emu, whatever the name may be, is like holding here for this, and then how does that translate to Vivi too, right? Does that just because and then if you were to apply the conversation for what's it called, the ancient weapons, right? Joy Boy perpetuating the ancient or allowing them to be passed on. With Shirahoshi, it's a interesting context because it's like what Joy Boy, you helped her get born. Like I joked on stream. I was like, was Joy Boy helping with the soaking process? Like, was he just rocking the bed a little bit for them? Like, I don't know. But does that apply with like Vivi? How does this work with? Does Lily's descendant Vivi apply there? But we don't at this point. Do we think Vivi is Uranus? Do we think they? But they, if Uranus was deployed by them, if that is the ancient weapon that they use, which is another context this chapter talks about, then they didn't need Vivi. Emu deployed it all on their own. At least whatever that ancient weapon is. So there's all this random stuff. I know a lot of people like the Uranus as a bird theory, and then Vivi having Karoo and being like commanding of a bird. They like that part of the theory too. But it's all so. I think that was one of the things I liked about this chapter too in general, is that as we go on, every piece of dialogue makes everything so much more interesting. Like it's like not new, but it is new. There's like a new context to every single character. I almost feel like everyone that we saw. So even though it's a 13-page chapter, this chapter hit different.
Yeah, it was a pretty good chapter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Lily plays out. I'm kind of expecting it to be like a Nakama kind of thing, or long lost lover. I'm not too sure. I mean, there's a reason why this painting is up here in the flower room and not downstairs with the frozen straw hat.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I feel like, because if you remember back with like the mother flame conversation, one of the reasons why I was saying like frame could make sense is that like I do think that Oda's going to make the big mom situation with like a picture of somebody, that being like a weakness of some sort in a future context, and the mother flame frame being important to Emu. That's what I was thinking, like maybe there's something like that here. And I'm like, well, I don't know how Lily is involved with that, because obviously Lily wouldn't be Emu's mom. Like that'd be weird. But I do think that some notion of that probably is there. Big Mom's weakness being that picture. Lily's picture might play a similar role with Emu, and to another extent, something that I will divulge for the video is future video, is like we do have to recognize that one of the main components of Saturn's experiments was not Bonnie. Like he barely didn't care about Bonnie and the perpetuation of the fruit. It was how it affected the mom, you know? Like the moment the sapphire scales show up, it was thrown out, but like he was more concerned about the mom being okay or like surviving correctly than Bonnie having the powers, period. Because if he cared about Bonnie at all, he would just keep Bonnie and throw Ginny out. Bonnie was born at that time. So it's like, why didn't he just keep Bonnie? But it was that his priority was Ginny in that scope of the experiment, which is so interesting because of the whole mother flame. She's the mom, so why are we experimenting on moms? Like there's a whole thing, and it can even go back to Judge, right? Judge's experimentation, you could say, yeah, it was on his kids, but in reality, it was on the mom, right? So those are all things I'll be talking about in a future video. Oda's been paralleling this huge thing in all these arcs, especially Whole Cake Island. And I can't help but think that something like that is relevant here.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to like, I think it was like a really early SBS where Oda said that mothers are like, you know, the bane of adventurers. Yeah.
Yeah. Antonym. He said that antonym of adventure, but don't use that on a quiz. I was like, that's a good, at least Oda's saying that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, like, you get your third grader kid does like a spelling bee or spelling quiz or whatever, and like, you know, sometimes the spelling quiz is like you spell it, but then it's also what's the antonym of this word, and it says adventure, and they wrote my mom. Like that'd be so funny.
I mean, that would work. I feel like people would give that one a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was a teacher, I'd be like, that's good. You got me to laugh a bit.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, good one, kid. You're gonna make something in the future.
The first page. Where do you think that's at?
Oda's been doing an interesting thing. He hasn't been giving us the context of all the places, but I thought that we saw something similar to this last, or like in the past, but
maybe
now that I'm looking at it deeper, I don't recognize it as much. It feels like it'd be Alabasta though.
Yeah, somebody said it's just Alabasta, and I could see that, but I don't know.
Yeah, because it has like Alabasta has these trees. The next place we see Alabasta right on the same page.
Yeah,
it's the same architecture.
Yeah,
and then the people are wearing like there's a camel. There's the same outfits that we saw in Alabasta.
Oh, you're right. That's a camel. I thought that was a guy wearing a hood.
Nah.
Damn, you're right. Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, I mean, it looks like a guy with a hood. Just got like big shoulders.
Yeah, but you know me. I'm the guy who gets us 90% of the way, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know imagine that's a named camel, and then I just don't know the name of the camel.
It's eyelashes.
No way it's that camel. I would remember if it's eyelashes. Come on. I'm not that disrespectful.
You would remember him even though like his face is hooded?
Yeah, obviously. Eyelashes, who could forget? I love Camels are cool.
Yeah, we need more camels, dude. We should have invited him. We should have invited him onto the crew.
Yeah, dude. Camel Zoan would go nuts.
You know what? We should have been capturing animals along the journey so that whenever the Straw Hats reach a new island, we can speed run it. We can just hop on an animal and then just
What good
go
is
around the
Chopper,
island.
bro? He's literally that. Like he
Yeah,
can
nobody's
carry,
really
like,
rode Chopper. I mean, I guess Usopp has, yeah. Yeah, Usopp's rode him a lot, actually, but
I think maybe Robin.
it's
one
only
time?
during a fight.
Yeah. Chopper needs to be more useful. You know, we always talk about the doctor side, but he's a literal reindeer, bro. Santa
okay.
whipped his ass across the world, and we can't even ride one island. Come on,
Here's
dude.
the thing with Chopper, though, right? So Chopper has the rumble balls, and he can like distort his form a little bit. He can play around with it. Why doesn't he just make a form that gives him like 9 torsos so that all of the Straw Hats can ride him at the same time?
Okay, hold on. 9 torsos is crazy. I thought you were gonna say a limo version, and then I was thinking like, wait, Long Ring Longland.
Yeah,
He's
Long
seen
Ring
that.
Longland. Yeah. Like,
So why
like
can't he
imagine
just-
it's just like 9 torsos just piled up in a line.
Dude, honestly, Limo Chopper would be very. I think if we got Limo Chopper at some point, it would have that would have made a lot of people not be upset because then he's transportation. At least he's doing that, right? But if Chopper now pulls out Limo Point, people would be upset. Like, where was this the entire series? You know?
Do you think Limo Point would be strong or fast?
Absolutely not, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. There's like, I mean, we also talked about Brain Point on stream too. It was funny because someone commented it on stream and they super chatted also, and then that I think that person went to a bunch of my videos and commented different iterations of, if Chopper used Brain Point in this arc, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my god, stop it with the Brain Point, you're giving me brain rot. Like,
Yeah, Brain Point's good.
it's good. It's just that we haven't gotten it, and people want to say that we got it. And I don't want to bring it up, but go listen to the stream because me and Sai dissected Thriller Bark.
Do you think? Yeah, it's a missed opportunity because like when we met Vegapunk, like and he had the no me no me no me, Chopper was there. Chopper should have been like, Vegapunk, I'll show you Brain, and then he activates Brain Point on him.
Yeah. That's the thing. Chopper's Brain Point, technically, like this is the best version of Chopper's Brain Point. He does this on Vegapunk, and he doesn't need Vegapunk to say anything. Chopper goes, wait a second, this life form has no brain. It must be somewhere else. And then he like scans, and he's like, oh my god, his brain's up. If Chopper figured that all on his own, that's like the best iteration where Vegapunk, and then Vegapunk are like, that's very impressive. What are you, a doctor? I couldn't tell. You're so furry. You're like a cute mascot. That would have been like ideal, right? But Chopper doesn't even get that W either. I can't
When was the
wait
last
for
time he
the
used
moment.
Brain Point again? I forgot.
Wasn't it just Alabasta? He used it on the mole person, right? Or like one
Yeah,
of those
he used it
people?
on the mole person, but
I don't think he used it afterwards.
oh
Like,
yeah,
Eni's lobby-
Kumadori.
Oh, did he use
That was
it?
it, yeah.
Eni's lobby? Yeah.
Because he was using Brain Point, and then Kumadori was hitting him with his fiery staff. And I remember,
Yeah, so
like,
it didn't
I watched
really
that
work.
fight, and I was like, wow, that was so silly. Like, Chopper, just stop taking these hits, man.
Yeah, and then Chopper just goes like, don't push me too far, hairy man. And then he's just like, that's it. And then he bites the thing and just slaps him across the island. That was cool though. Monster Point had so much aura. Actually, Monster Point had the same aura that I think that the Legendary Iron Giant got in this chapter. And I'm saying that with, like, obviously, guys, if you go back in Monster Point, it doesn't feel the same. But when the series was running originally, Monster Point was crazy. Monster Point was like that was like, oh my god. Once Chopper harnesses the power of Monster Point, he is going to be the strongest character in the series. I remember people talking about, well, not in the community, obviously friends. It's like, yo, like Chopper's gonna be nuts. And then when he masters it after the time skip, it's a meme. He's just like, ooh, and I'm like, no.
Okay, wait. So technically, Chopper is always in Brain Point, but we're just talking about scope.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, Brain Point scope. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really use scope though, man. It's and the thing is, he doesn't have to transform for it either, man. He could just whip it out.
Oda can always do the SBS of he's always in scope. His domain is always expanded.
Oh, that'd be so bad for because Chopper fumbles so many things. So it's like if he was always using scope, that'd be horrible.
You know what else I miss? The Cloven, like I think
Cloven
he used it.
Roseo.
Yeah, like that move was like really powerful. I forget when he used it last, but I remember one time I was like, "Yo, this thing is like really strong. Like this ability is insane."
That's what almost beat Kumodori, and then he used it again on Ors. And he used it on the Kuma Pacifista at Saboti.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, and he did damage to the Pacifista if I remember. Like he pushed it back at least.
Yeah, he pushed it back. Yeah.
I don't remember if he did like visible damage, but like at that point, that's insane. Like for Chopper, that character to do that, and like did he use it on Queen ever?
No.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, they need to bring back Cloven Roseo. Because it was cool because it had like the soccer pedals flying out in the background.
Yeah.
It's an awesome attack.
And also like Robin, she has the Sakura petals, like, and then Luffy when he awakened, or not awakened, but like when he unlocked the Conquers and he bloomed, he had the Sakura petals too, like, or like the petals blooming. So like keeping that like aesthetic all the way through would be kind of sick. But Chopper, Oda's just like, brother, I just wanted an animal to talk, and the anime director made him a mascot. That's not my fault. And now you guys are just confused about where I wanted. He literally said verbatim, I just thought he was gonna be an animal that spoke language. Like that was all I wanted. And honestly, that utility alone is so sick, right? But I don't think Chopper ever uses that. Well, he does, but like not to the extent where he can understand animals and he can translate them.
Yeah, but he doesn't do that often, though, right?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, because then, like, the reason why we went on this detour tangent was you said we should go island to island and collect all the animals to use them for various utilities. That could be Chopper's role, the zookeeper on the island, on the ship, and he just talks all animals and gives them roles. He could be Tama without the Tama. Like, he could just be their friend because he's an animal.
Chopper could be like the head lead on the Noah's Ark, just bringing all the animals on there.
That's what I'm saying. Chopper, oh my god, do I need to make a hit piece on Chopper too? Because it's so stale. Everyone's like, oh, he's a bad doctor. Oh, he's blah blah blah. I don't even care about that. He's a bad animal, dude.
He doesn't do too much. And and another reason why I like animals right now too is because when we saw the Holy Knights, like Garling had an animal. You know, he had an emu. He was riding.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, damn, man, like we need mounts.
You know how sick it would be? All right, we don't. Okay, needing mounts is one thing, but you know how sick it would be if Chopper like stole their mounts by just talking to them? You're like, so you're treated poorly, right? Well, my captain gives food to all of us, and then they're like, really? And like these emus that are like starved to death by the celestial dragons. Then Chopper is like, yeah, and he like steals all the animals. Oh my god, that'd be so sick. And then they concoct a plan where like the emus betray them, and Chopper's just like sitting there like, haha, brain point activated, scope. Your weakness is your No, I don't know.
It's your animals.
Yeah. Oh,
he's like a union leader.
Yeah.
Maybe one day Chopper will do something. I mean, hey, he's still doing more than Karu and Ingram here, because they're just staring at pictures of Vivi and crying. Which I guess is kind of funny, right? Because like we have a picture of Emu looking up at Lily, and then Ingram's looking down at Vivi.
Yeah.
The anime should put them side by side. That'd be a great transition.
I have a serious question for you.
What's up?
Do you think they wasted paper on printing all those Vivi posters?
Yeah.
In Alabasta?
Yeah. 100%. I don't know what they're doing with those pictures at all. Like everybody in Alabasta would know what Vivi looks like, right?
But the newspaper already printed that she's missing, and that was distributed worldwide.
Yeah, and then another thing too is that
they know that she's lost at Marriage Law.
Yeah, so she's not here. She's not in Alabasta. So nothing about Maybe he's crying because he wasted paper. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. I looked at that and I was just like, wait, what about the newspapers that are distributed all around the world? Like you're just ignoring that Big News Morgans. And the irony is that Big News Morgans has VV. So it's extra funny that he like decided to waste all the paper. Let's not forget that they have a crop crisis because they can't grow crops in Alabasta because it doesn't rain and the seawater is encroaching on the land. So they're using valuable crops here to print this paper. And then Big News Morgans just has her anyways.
Yeah, they're just straight chilling.
Good times, but yeah.
I'm surprised that Ingram hasn't gone out to look for Vivi, to be honest.
Yo, Ingram was cracked. Ingram was a cool character.
He had like guns in his hair.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. As meme as that was, when he did that, I was like, all right.
Yeah, and he could have there too, right? Like, imagine he has hockey and he coats all the bullets in hockey. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Guy could be busted.
It's even like this is the other weird part is his wife looks exactly like him, so that perpetuates the royal family incest thing. It's just everybody in this castle is just weird. They always marry their sister or something.
Well, she doesn't look like him.
Isn't it 1-to-1?
No, she has lipstick.
Yeah. Famously born with lipstick on.
For King Cobra, we get to see his tomb. And let me tell you, this guy is hitting the widest grin known to mankind. He is so happy that it's finally over.
Yeah, you'd think that Vivi got married. That's how happy he is.
Yeah, I wonder like what was the context behind this picture, right? Like, hey Cobra, just in case you die, we need to take a picture of you smiling, dude.
Yeah, they told him that like Vivi's getting married soon because that was the not weirdest, obviously like Asian parenting whatever, but like that was his main character thing that stayed throughout the entire time was that all he cared about was Vivi getting married. And the reality is, apparently, according to family tradition, all you need to do is give Vivi a brother.
Yeah, I mean, just keep it in the family, dude. Celestial Dragon style.
Apparently, he did it the same way, so...
Yeah, he's dead now. We see Chaka, we see Pell. And what I like is that their bodyguards even on the tomb because you see them in the background, too. You see the Falcon, you see the Jackal. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you like that Chaka is silhouetted for some reason?
Is he? Oh, no. I think he's just looking up.
His head's
Yeah, that's
turned?
just the back of his head.
Oh, I got it. I'm just dumb. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's just looking up.
Do you think these dudes are going to awaken and show up? Like, they're going to have awakened Anubis, awakened Horus, I guess?
Yeah, I think that'd be sick. Like, if Vivi has, like, the best bodyguards right here. Like, you know, I meme on Chaka and Pell a lot, but I feel like if they did train, if they did awaken, I feel like they would be hella good bodyguards.
I think, yeah, and I think you would agree with this. Pell's design is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I don't like his clothing. I think I don't like his clothing, but I like the face paint and everything. I think it's sick.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that part. And that's why, because it's like, it's always characters like that are like, oh, this character's sick. They're going to live up to their expectations. Nope, just half died to a bomb. I even like
Chaka.
Sort of.
Chaka's design is cool too. It's got like the pointy nose and everything.
I don't remember what ruined it for Chaka, but it was probably the other guards that was like in line with him that also had Zoans, and then they just instantly died to fatal fuel.
Oh, those guys. They didn't have Zoans, did they?
Yeah, they were
regular
Zoans.
People. Were they?
No, they were all Zoans, yeah. I'm pretty sure they were all Zoans. Hold on.
They weren't Zoans. What are you talking about?
It was what, chapter 191? Or was it? I have no idea.
I'm just gonna type in fatal fuel.
Oh yeah, do that.
One Piece fatal fuel, hero water.
Climate baton.
No, they're all people, dude.
They wait, they all turned into animals, did they not?
No. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they did.
I'm looking at it right now. Hista, Brahm, Arrow, and Barrel. They're like regular people.
Hold on. Hista, One Piece? What chapter was... Wait, tell me what chapter
Hista... Or Hyota, sorry.
Hyota, wow. What chapter is that?
Chapter 196.
What? That feels a little bit later. Oh, let me see this. Let me see. I'm pretty sure they all turned into animals. Did they not?
They did not. They're just people.
Oh, they just look like animals.
They look. what, one guy's shaped like Kaido, the other one's shaped like Kuma, and then the other two are just like regular guys.
Oh, you know what it was? The fatal fuel drew lines on them, right? That's what it is. Like their arms had lines on them. I
Yeah,
think that's why.
they got like stretch marks, and that's it because
Yeah,
their
those.
muscles were pumping.
Yeah, yeah. It says those marks. Don't tell me you. And then what did they? What did they drank the fatal fuel? They only have a few minutes to live. They can't be saved. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did Chaka ever fight?
I think he got insta-diffed, no?
I think he might have. Yeah, he got insta-diff by Crocodile. Because I know Pell lost to Robin. Like Pell was like, "Hey, I'm one of the few flying creatures in the world," and then Robin just like latches onto his wings, and then he falls to the ground, and that's it. Just
Yeah,
snaps his neck.
Chaka gets insta-diff in that same chapter. He gets mad that his friends died, even though they basically died themselves. He bums rushes, and the panel's actually sick. Like Chaka looks cool because he has the like jackal. The fruit name in English is so funny. It's the mutt fruit model jackal, and like, but he looks cool. And then Crocodile goes, "Will you die for your king as well?" And then we skip to Zoro beating Mr. One, and then we see eyelashes. Fun fact. We see Sanji, we see Nami, we see all these fights updating, and then we come back and he's dead. And then Crocodile goes, "Weakness is an unforgivable sin." And you just see him like dead upside down with Crocodile pulling his hook out of his chest.
Yeah, Chaka's A1.
He
Maybe
looks
Chaka
like Batman.
awakened. I mean, Chaka and Pell, dude. They went through they
this
death-defying feats here.
That's what I'm saying. And like in chapter 196, if you guys scroll to like the last page where Chaka shows up, he looks like Batman. Because his head's upside down and it looks like Bruce Wayne 100%.
Yeah, I can see it.
Just the claws are different. Yeah. Yeah, fun.
I think his fruit's super sick, honestly. The Jackal, come on.
Yeah, I mean both of theirs are really cool. It's just that Oda didn't give them the coolest story.
Yeah, and they just don't have like they're not strong. I think that's what it is too. But maybe they trained up. Maybe they were like, hey, we don't want another rebellion situation again. Maybe that's why Oda didn't bring them into the throne room, because they were just no diff Gorsei.
Well, okay, let's not get out of line here, but let's do this, okay? Since Crocodile's in Cross Guild and they were the opponents, obviously we don't think that Chaka running it back with Crocodile makes sense that he would win. But do you think that Chaka or Pell individually can stack up against Mr. One? Do you think Mr. One versus these two goons? Or do you think Mr. One is going to actually stack up against Zoro again?
Mr. One would beat these guys. I don't think Mr. One would stack up against Zoro, though.
So, like, you're saying the gap between Zoro and Chaka is so large that Mr. One sizably fits in where he easily beats these guys and he easily gets defeated by Zoro.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. I could see that. It's because then that's sad, because then it's like, how much do they train? Because like if Zoro's here, and I'm not saying Zoro's low, but like in Mr. One sizably getting defeated, Mr. One's still one of the top tiers at Cross Guild. So then it's like what number like does Chaka meet up to? Is he just meeting up with Bon Clay? Is he equalizing Bon Clay?
Well, we don't know yet. Like we need him to like train up and like, be awakened and everything to like fully say. Like, but just basing it off of what we've seen on like Alabasta and putting him on like a steady trajectory. Yeah. I think he's like decent, but like he's not like Mr. One level, or like Zoro level.
How problematic would it be if they show up again, they are awakened in a similar light as Lucci and Kaku? And I'm not gonna be disrespectful and say Lucci, but what if these two make Kaku like, oh, my Egyptian ancestor, like, you know what I mean? Like
my brothers.
Yeah, and then they actually they clash. Like Chaka as the jackal and the giraffe, like they equal clash. Is that problematic?
That'd be fine. I mean, no, not really. I think it'd be funny.
But do you think the community would find that problematic?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, like
Yeah.
deep down, I want Kaku to win. Like that's
Yeah.
not an ideal situation for me because I'm a big Kaku fan, so I have him like at a higher tier. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'd probably just laugh at it, so it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
also,
I
like
just
I
want
said,
Pell
I
to look
really
good.
do like the Jackal fruit a lot.
Yeah, I
A
like
lot
both
of
of them.
potential.
I think Oda. I think Oda likes them too. And if he's bringing them out like this in Egghead, showing them this up front, like they each have their own panel.
Oh yeah,
Like you would think that it would be enough to just show the one where they're both looking up at the thing, but no, Oda gave them this thing, and now that Vivi and Alabasta and the history is all at the forefront, and the other part is they were like if Oda were completing the series earlier, the thing is like Oda did set them up for greatness because they were considered the guardians of Alabasta, like their fruits. So like in a huge way, like how we were talking about Yamato being the guardian of Wano, they are the guardians of Alabasta. And I talked about that in my awakening video. How like I didn't talk about Chaka as much as Pell, obviously, because Pell's up forefront of conversation. But if Oda is going to make Alabasta as important as it feels like right now, then I actually do see these guys awakening, and I actually do see them being like a force. And it's kind of crazy because like I don't know where Oda would cap it, but like because Lucci is also like a leopard, and then the giraffe, and they awaken. Like, is Oda gonna bring back? And then we have the Guardians, and like, are they going to be an insane role? Maybe. Like that could be the case. Like I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's
the
weird.
thing is like they didn't protect Cobra, right? Like Cobra's dead, so
Yeah,
I feel like for Vivi, if they ever get,
they
like
have
meet up
to.
with Vivi again, they have to. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
all or
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, if Oda wanted to get rid of them, Cobra was their opportunity to do that. Like,
Yeah,
or at Mary Joie, where like Oda could have had these two like die seeing Cobra's corpse, and then the Gorosei just pull out the blickies and like do something like
yeah.
that, put them down. But yeah, so Oda keeping them, Oda emphasizing them. It seems crazy, but like yeah, like this is Egghead. We're ending it. The first two pages. If we're to say that first panel is Alabasta, then the first two pages of this chapter is all Alabasta. So and
I
it ends
mean,
with these
I
guys.
wouldn't be surprised if like when we get the Lily flashback, if she had
These
people with these
guys.
powers too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
oh, I have a
And
Falcon, I have a Anubis or Jackal. Like that'd
and
be
four
cool.
dudes who died from Fatal Fuel. Like they were the creators of Fatal Fuel.
The Sumigiri guards. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it
Was that
looks
their
like it's just like
names?
a role. Yeah, it's like a role that's given to people. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have new Sumigiri guards.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It could be
mm-hmm.
possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So we go down to the third page, and Vegapunk is talking about the Mother Flame, how, it's a power source he created. He wants to bring it around the world. And it's like, yeah, that's great and all, but like, damn, dude. Like, who's going to do that now? Now that Vegapunk is gone?
Yeah.
Like, I can't, like, I guess Atlas could be a person that could do it. Lilith could, but I feel like since they're just one out of the 6 personalities of Vegapunk, like, would they actually feel the ambition to do this or the need to do this? I don't
It
know.
almost feels like I don't know. I'm not saying this like verbatim, but like how this panel page ends, it's like with Stussy, Edison being like, tell her to get out of here. You have a purpose. Your loyalty to Vegapunk shows your humanity. The Mother Flame, we don't know the context of it. We just see its appearance and how it's used. We don't know how what's used to create it. We don't know the fuel for it necessarily. But like you're saying, if there was a trusted person to do it, well, the character that was just put on a pedestal for their loyalty to Vegapunk is right there, Stussy. And Stussy's entire character is probably the most underratedly connected character. Even the reveal of Stussy's plot twist being an ex-Rocks pirate clone of Buckingham Stussy, um, sleeper cipher pole agent for 20 years. Like there's the we don't even know what she had been doing for those 20 years, but she was the queen emperor of the underworld of the pleasure district. Like there's probably way more to the character than just that. And the other part of it is the first successful clone. And so, like, if we are to parallel, like, maybe there's a line in there with the Void Century, right? If they started cloning back then, or if there was a first successful clone there, maybe if Joy Boy was the first successful clone, and that's why they perpetuate the ancient weapons and whatever other technology, then we're talking about that here, where it's like Joy Boy decided to push on the technology. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what Stussy's capacity is to parallel Joy Boy. What I'm saying is that in this page, Stussy's given a lot more weight than she started with, you know? It's like the way Vegapunk talked about like Sentamaru as like a sacrificial pawn for him to survive.
Yeah.
He's not talking about Stussy in that light at all, ever, period, you know? Stussy's always been like, you know, hey, you are human. You're valuable. Don't disregard that. And in this chapter further emphasize that Edison's like, yo, don't listen to the barrier logic. We need you to get out of here, you know. So I don't know about, like you said, like who's gonna do it, but the Vegapunks feel weird at the moment, right? If Edison's gone and we just have like Lilith, Atlas, and York is gone, so then it's Lilith and Atlas. Obviously, Lilith is a huge one, right? Because claimed to be evil, and that's important, right? Because Vegapunk now 3 chapters in a row has said, I don't want to be the arbiter of good and evil. And that's ironic because he declared one of his clones to be evil. So it's like, okay, so you're saying that I don't want to say these person's actions are good or evil, but you have a clone that's evil. What is your parameter for Lilith then? And that is also interesting because if we were to go by generic standards of evil, I don't think Lilith fits a lot of those, right? Lilith isn't like Blackbeard, right? Like, it doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like Shiryu either. Not bloodthirsty, just wants to fight. But it's not. It doesn't even feel much more than Atlas to that extent, you know. Lilith just like likes revenge or something like that. That's it.
Yeah, she's a plunderer.
So it is interesting. I like where Stussy's placed at with the story though.
Yeah, the thing with the Mother Flame is I feel like it requires a scientist. And I mean, maybe Stussy is that, but that's why I'm not like putting her there. I know some people are saying Frankie could do it, but Frankie, yeah, I guess Frankie could. But it comes down to like Stussy, who has the Mother Flame at the very end too. Like by the end of this arc,
said to be a scientist too, right? Like technically, we just don't know the context of it. But it was self-proclaimed scientist, I think, right? That's what Bakins was considered on the
yeah, okay,
yeah. So like we don't know the context of that, like self-proclaimed scientist. It's like is that the same thing?
It sounded like a gag where like, you know, she just kind of like invited herself into the group.
Yeah, is that like Hero Luke, self-proclaimed doctor, but he just like hurts everybody? He's
not like actually a doctor.
Yeah, and is that the same thing as like how Weevil ended up being Weevil? Is that she did the cloning, but Weevil ended up this abomination, and Bakins is her mom because she is a self-proclaimed scientist, not a real one? Like maybe that's how it happened. We don't know.
Yeah. Oh, we see the Seraphim, man. They fall down to the ground. Several agents also fall down here. They look dead. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of these several agents look like they're not even in this corporeal dimension anymore, but apparently they're still here. They're still kicking. They're still breathing. But the Seraphim bubbles did not burst. So it looks like a Gorsa member will have to come down here and save them if they want them in the first place.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to see who comes down here to like free them, or even if they will. Right? Like, will the several agents be like a priority?
I can't wait for Oda to correct this panel.
Why? What's up?
You don't see what's wrong?
No, what's up?
What's wrong with S Snake's hair, bro?
Oh, it's black, yeah.
Damn.
That's like shading though, right?
Nah, that's just straight up. I don't know how
shading.
you shade white. I don't know how you shade white hair to look jet black. They just thought it was Boa. That's it.
I like to imagine that, like, when they colored in this panel, they're like, well, if we make S Snake's hair white, it's gonna be like, it's gonna blend in too much. So let's make it black.
But look at the dude next to her, white and blonde hair, or whatever. Like,
oh, I thought that was just that guy, yeah. But he's not in a bubble though, right? The bubble, maybe the bubble is like reflecting off something.
Oh, yeah. Oda's gonna come out and say that this was actually not a mistake, part vision. This is actually just the reflective nature of the indestructible bubble.
Ooh, what if the hair color changes every now and then if they're damaged?
Oh, that
It's like a fighting game, you know, like in a fighting game, you hit somebody and they like light up red.
If that was the case, then King's hair should have changed back, right? Or did Zoro not beat him? And did
Oh no,
Green
no,
Bull
no!
not
Like
beat
no,
him?
it's like a Seraphim only thing.
Oh, Seraphim only, even though their genetics are straight from King, and Shaka told us that verbatim. Word
Yeah,
for
dude.
word.
Like I mean, they also have like stars for eyes, right?
You got me. You know what? You won.
They got
You're
stars
right.
for eyes. They got like these
Yeah,
crazy boots. They got green blood, which King doesn't have. Like
Disgusting. Right?
yeah, they're a little bit different.
Would you want green blood?
Yeah.
If Vegapunk told you that you could get a devil fruit
100%. I wouldn't even like
Yeah.
hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah. What if
It
you
would
had to
depend on the
drink it and
power, but I would do it.
what if you had to drink it and it tasted really bad and it wasn't like green blood, but you had to drink it and you had to pee it out and it burned when you peed?
That's fair. I'd do it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, like if you're getting like a life-altering power, you know, peeing, you know, oh no, I'm peeing for 30 seconds. Ah, God, it's burning. It's like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I just thought about how funny it would be if Oda did that as a power up, and like you know how Oda loves time limits in the fight. You know how like Luffy does the time limit, and he has this hockey thing. The time limit on the fight would be them holding in their
Just
pee.
holding in their bladder.
Yeah. That'd be kind of hilarious. And they're like half of their training arc is trying to get a stronger bladder.
I can't, maybe for early, I could see that for early One Piece, but the fact that we haven't had that yet makes me feel like we're never gonna get that.
That would be so fun. The thing is, like,
That'd be
we
so
could
cursed.
never get it with the main cast, but like, I think we could get that something. Not saying it's the entire thing.
Maybe
but,
like Barto.
or I was thinking like the random vice captains of the Revs. You know, like those are that kind of characters you could do this with. You know, like one character, like the Humpty Dumpty dude. You know, like
I don't know, like I'm not gonna lie, like I really like the vice captains of the Revs. They're kind of cool.
the only okay. I've been
Like
honest
Humpty
about
Dumpty,
it.
brother? Humpty Dumpty, come on.
There's the one of them brings them all down for me, and it's the Ushiro or whatever, the cow dude. I never want to read their lines.
Who?
The cow one. There's the one vice captain.
Funny
that's like-
enough, I remember 3 of them, but I don't remember the 4th. So maybe I just
Exactly.
erased him.
yeah,
maybe I
because
erased
he's
it from my
so
mind.
bad and annoying, dude. The lines
Rex, let
are
me see.
grain on my brain to read.
I don't even remember what he said. Let me.
It's like a worse
this.
Kizaru, because Kizaru talks slowly, but it doesn't reflect in the lines that crazily.
Oh,
right?
Ushiano. Yeah. I forgot
Yeah.
this. Oh wow, he looks like fodder.
Yeah, and
He
that's a
actually
vice.
looks like fodder. That's crazy.
That cow brings everyone down for me. I don't care about Humpty Dumpty. I don't care about the Nami.
Do you think it's a Zoan?
No, dude, he talks like a cow too. He goes moo.
Yeah, but who,
Every
I mean, yeah, he's
sentence.
probably cosplaying.
Nah.
Oh no, it's confirmed he's a mink.
Oh, and you hate minks. Come on, bro. Be on my side for this.
No, I think he's kind of cool.
No, you guys know he's lying.
Ushiano is a cattle mink with a
this
very
is-
long neck,
this-
a pair of horns,
you-
skinny limbs, and relatively thick lower body. He has spotted fur akin to Holstein cattle.
This is the most Sai has ever read about any single
Interesting.
mink ever. Listen, guys, you know for a fact how Sai's cogs are turning in his brain. Oh, dang, Par hates this. Time for me to
Oh,
like
wait.
it randomly. He's
No,
racist
dude,
against
he
minks,
can
John.
he can go Sulong, brother. What are you talking about? You don't like Sulong?
You don't care about Sulong and every other character.
No,
You
Ushiano Sulong
literally
is sick.
Rewind back to the beginning when we were talking about Carrot and Mokomo Ductum, the disdain you had on your face the moment I said, I didn't even say Mokomo Ductum, I said Mo, and then you were like, shut up, Par. Don't ever bring
Dude,
up minks ever again
Ushiano's
on
sick. Okay,
this.
here's the problem with the Mokomo Dukedom versus Ushiano, right?
Uh-huh.
The Mokomo Dukedom, like Carrot, Wanda, like those are all animals that have decent proportions that are correct, right? So when they go Sulong, it's whatever. Ushiano has a very long neck. He has a weird head. He's got like weird elongated limbs. Like he
You
feels
hate
like
giants.
a creepypasta.
They have long necks and long elongated
Yeah, and I
arms.
hate long arm, long leg people too, but it works for a cow person.
How
Like,
does it work?
So I don't like it when humans have like weird proportions, but for a cow person, I hold them to different standards. So I think for
Wouldn't this mean
Ushiano, it's okay.
if he does, because if everyone on Mokumo Dukdom has the normal proportions of their animal and Ushiano doesn't, and they have the proportions of a long limbed tri person, wouldn't that mean Ushiano is a hybrid of a mink, a cow mink, and a
Apparently
long limbed
not,
person?
dude. Apparently he's just a strange mink, according to the
No,
wiki.
we don't know. Watch, we're gonna find out that his parents are long limbed.
How do we have this information, actually?
Yeah.
How do we have this?
I don't care. I feel like wherever it came from, we should delete it.
I don't know, man. Like, I have a lot of stocks on Ushiano. And you have to remember that so Ushiano works for Morley, and Morley fought Green Bull. So Ushiano is probably at Green Bull level 2 in the future. You know, we time skip him up. Oh my god.
Guys, wrap it up. You guys hear the dissonance in here. How does a character that fights an admiral ever have a good depiction in your mind? They were giving Green Bull the arbiter of justice resistance. How dare they? That's gross.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't like the revs, but I think Ushiano's okay. I'm gonna say this right here. Ushiano, I like him.
All right, fine. This is goofy ass.
I mean, we got. I think
the amount of glazing. I'm surprised you don't have a tattoo of Ushiano yet. I'm surprised the Wikipedia page isn't on your arm. I'm surprised the URL isn't memorized by you.
Oh no, I got the URL. That's what I typed in.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I typed in onepiece.fandom.com/wiki-ushiano.
Yeah. You have it memorized because you forgot the name. You forgot what they looked like at the beginning of this conversation.
I did not forget what they look like. You forgot what they look like, and then I told you it's Ushiano. I said it's the cow guy, and then you said that you don't remember one of the characters of the revs, and then I was like, I know, like, he has annoying dialogue. I erase his dialogue all the time from my memory. And then you were like, wait, what? What dialogue?
We need to change the name of this podcast to the gas station, bro.
What are you talking about? No. How did we get here? Because you said you want Humpty Dumpty to leak all over you or something?
Oh my god, the amount of gas Sai's putting on everything. He's gassing up Ushiano. He's gaslighting me.
Wait.
He's an oil baron. Sai is
you thought about like
the
pissing gag, and you brought up Gambo, the Humpty Dumpty rev. But no joke though, like, I think Ushiano would fit the bill better because he's a cow, right? Like, you can milk him.
I ain't trying to milk anything.
Oh my
but you
god,
know what?
bro, can suck his udders.
I knew you were gonna say that. No, because we already established Moda has mommy milkers, bro.
What are we doing, dude?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
I just want to say that wasn't me. Someone hashtagged that on my stream. That wasn't me.
Yeah, Moda with the mommy milkers, Ushiano being an actual cow with milkers. Like,
Speaking of mommy milkers,
yeah,
Stussie's
let's get back to the
panels.
chapter. Stussy. As far as Stussy goes, like, she's so interesting to me because I want to see what she ends up doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, she can't go back to CP0. Like, Kaku, Lucci, they're gonna let the cat out of the bag. Maybe, actually, I don't know. I feel like if it was up to Kaku, I don't think he would say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But considering the fact that Lucci's he holds the grudge for a while, I feel like he wouldn't let Stussy back in. He wouldn't be able to trust her. But I mean, that's her home though. So it's kind of rough. Like, if she doesn't go with the Straw Hats, if she doesn't go with CP0, I could see her maybe going to Neo Mads. But even then, I'm not too sure why, right? Like, Miss Botkins was a self-proclaimed scientist. I'm kind of assuming she went there just to get Weevil, or just to create Weevil, or create a clone out of Whitebeard. Stussy doesn't have that same ambition from what we know of, so I don't know if she'd even go to them.
I feel like the pathway for Stussy is like, I feel like all the clones are going to do this. They're going to meet their originals. And I think like with Stussy, I don't know, I forget if we talked about this on call or last call, but I think like Stussy's problem too is like not understanding that she's made the choices that she made has put her on a positive timeline. And if she sees the original Botkins, it's not that like Botkins was on the wrong timeline or bad timeline, but like clearly there's a choice that she made according to the way Oda tells the story and how people like, age and their best time and bad timeline. Botkins isn't on what it seems like the best timeline. Otherwise she'd end up looking more like Shocky, right?
Yeah.
And the difference with Stussy is like seeing that like my choices do matter. I'm not like yeah, there's some things that are destiny, maybe there's some things that are fate, but that's not all there is to it. There's more to it. There's choices, there's decisions, there's dispositions, and like to me, one of the important things here too is like Oda's been putting Kaku in a weird position, right? At the like end of Lucci's character was he did all this fighting. He was on the Straw Hat side. He betrayed the Straw Hats. He was went back to the thing. But at the end of the day, he still asked for Kaku's safety from the Gorosei, the guy he feared, his boss. And Kaku's here at the this like cross section of seeing another one of his allies who betrayed him, but then it sees like what kind of person they were. And the thing about Kaku is probably the most genuine CP9 agent, if like from memory, because he actually loves being a shipwright. Like that was his thing. Yeah, he was undercover, but that was his passion. He loved that. And like Kaku's also just like we said this at the beginning of Egghead, he's always been this like easygoing character that's kind of just like super strong. Yeah, he's on the Cypher Pole side, but he's not like I don't think at a single like at various points he's ever been like Lucci version bloodlusted or like evil. He's always just like, yep, I'm just here. He's like a happy Kizaru in a little bit, right? But
Yeah.
imagine if Kaku was ordered to kill Lucci, I guess, right? That would put him in the same boat as Kizaru in this arc. And then you'd see the same, like, oh man, I don't know if I could do this, right? Kind of like feeling. And so, like, now he's seeing the humanity in Stussy, and like, it makes you wonder why Oda's doing that, because we were already at a point where Stussy's future was very hard to predict. But now you add that, like, how does Stussy and Kaku go forward? That makes it even more confusing because I kind of want it to continue forward. Not, I don't even care about the ships. Like, that was a joke. But more so, like, if the all of Cypher Pole CP9, at least the main cast that we're following right now, if they all turn to be on the Straw Hat side by the end of it, what is that pathway? Is Lucci and Kaku going to follow the same path? Are they going to do that together? And is now Stussy aligned with that? And the other part again that I love about Stussy's character is that she's one of those characters that has her own world. She is the underworld of the Pleasure District, and I personally like all of those emperors. Although even if they're not strong, like I like that Oda made the world that big that that position exists, and Oda is continuously using it. For a lot of people who weren't paying attention to Vegapunk or Kuma's flashback, in Kuma's flashback, Vegapunk used one of the emperors to build the island. He used Umit, the deep sea cargo guy, and that guy shipped all of the things that Vegapunk needed to build the island, or at least the main components, last components. So like Oda is keeping tabs or keeping us up to date on those characters, and the Pleasure District is a very interesting name. Stussy's role in Whole Cake Island is very interesting. Stussy's role with the Rocks Pirates is now interesting. Vegapunk is really interesting. Cypher Pole. But then it's like even Caesar. Was Caesar also using Stussy when he was getting the girl ships? Remember, he used all of Big Mom's money on girls. Was
Yeah.
that through Stussy? So it's like you said, like Neo Mads. There's a connection there. Stussy probably knows Caesar through that. So there's so many versions of Stussy's future, and what makes this even more odd, and for people who follow my channel a lot, one of the main reasons why I loved Kuma was because Kuma was that same character. Kuma was a character that was like a rev, was in the world government, was tied to Vegapunk, was a pirate, I guess, like is a warlord, also like with like you know, like now we know about like the Nika stuff, the Bonnie stuff, all you add all those things together and it's like, dang, like how did Oda weave this character together? And then the the product that we got at the end of it was phenomenal. I loved it. And the reveal of Stussy felt really great. And that's why I feel like Stussy is going to go that direction of like she's not going to fall wayside. She is going to be at a center point in the story in the similar capacity of maybe Kuma. And another route to even look at is that Oda doubled down on Weevil's backstory too. When an editor, wasn't it like an editor said like, "What's up with Weevil? Why do we care about him?" And Oda explained the backstory, and then the editor is like, "Never mind, never mind. You keep on cooking, Oda." He said something along those lines. So I'm excited. Stussy, Oda's been doing a good job with all of Stussy's like points in Egghead, I feel like.
For Kaku though, So after he's released from the bubble, do you think he's gonna go save Lucci, or do you think he's gonna save the South Pole agents? Because I really don't think he's gonna chase the Straw Hats. Like, you know, Stussy's kind of hitting him with like guilt, like, hey, yeah, don't worry, he's not gonna go after them. I know him. He's not gonna go after the Straw Hats anymore.
I
And
just
it's like, damn.
hope. I just hope he doesn't end up like the rest of the Cypher Pole agents in this chapter.
Well, like sucked off by Jupiter.
Yeah, let's not do that to our boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
but like to them, they're all insects.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a minute. I mean, that's kind of an interesting one, huh?
Yeah, yeah. There's some Jupiter has a flavor. You know, his
Yeah.
allies.
Yeah, allies. I mean, that's all the Gore say.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it would be kind of
Dang.
cool, like, if he just goes to Lucci, just carries him off the island, kind of like Enies Lobby, kind of a throwback. Because it wasn't Kaku who did it back then. It was like Jabra and the rest of them.
Yeah,
But it'd be kind
yeah.
of sick if like Kaku did it this time.
Yeah, maybe Stussy flies them away in bat form.
Yeah.
Or better, Kaku uses his pasta machine and makes a helicopter.
Maybe. You never know, man.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never know.
Giraffes can
the
do anything.
Power of an awakened giraffe.
So after that, funny enough, we actually see Ushiano.
Oh my god, I didn't notice.
Yeah, we see Ushiano, Ahiru. I think his name's Jiron. We don't see the Eggman, which is kind of sad. Yeah, the egg
Yeah.
guy's not here. What the hell?
Wait, isn't the front guy the egg guy?
The front guy. Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
who?
isn't that the one right in the front of the panel, right in front of Moda? Isn't that the egg dude?
Oh, the guy with the mask?
Yeah.
No, that's Jiron.
Geron. Whatever.
Yeah, it's Jiron, brother. Come on, dude.
Yeah, cool.
You don't know your rep
Geron.
commanders? Dude, I mean, for how much we hate Dragon, we gotta know these guys, right?
Nah, I made a whole video on the revs. That's all I'm doing. So it's like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't show Konami.
You played your part. You put the money in the donation basket. You're gone.
Yeah, people already thanked me for my contribution to the revolutionary side and pushing their agenda. So you know, why do more? You know, I'm
No,
not.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Revs are reacting to the news. Vegapunk's message is all kind of in one, so we'll talk about it here in a second. We go down a little bit more. We see reactions from Vice Admiral Camille. Pretty sick. Which, you know, somebody said it's a combination of coffee and milk. I think it could be chamomile tea, even. I think there's another guy who had like a crazy theory on this guy's name. People love this guy, by the way. He's got the cheeky hair. You like him too?
No, I mean, he had enough aura that I didn't even dare put a name or try to on stream. I said, I'm gonna wait for Sai. I need verifications on this guy's. He's like that main character that shows up in a series to like was in the forest and then he shows up to like some kind of like measurement place like to measure his powers and it's like everyone underestimates that character and it's like surely this bumpkin is too weak. No, this guy had enough aura that even I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna wait for the guild master of the Marines side.
I mean, he's a combination of a lot of people's favorite characters. He has the head of Don Chin Jiao, the teeth of Goldie Roger. He has the hair of Shiki.
The jacket, the suit of an admiral.
The suit of an admiral. And then what's a character that has a mustache? Because he has a mustache too.
Those mustaches aren't that like high in like
Vista,
if you got a mustache.
The mustache of Vista.
No, don't slander Vista's. It comes off his face. The good mustache is
That's not
always
slander.
No, I'm saying like this one isn't close to his because all the good mustaches they come off the face in fiction.
Oh yeah, and then they do the little boop boop boop.
Yeah, like Blackbeard's beard is like, you know, at the beginning of the series, it wasn't even that. It was just stubble. You know what I mean? But now he's actually Blackbeard. It comes off his face. It's huge.
Ooh, this guy also has the chin of Whitebeard's 9th commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't there like a Whitebeard commander that wears like green and white and he has like a robotic chin?
Yeah.
You're just nodding your head. One Piece. White beard commanders.
The one Whitebeard commander that stands out the most to me, or not stands out the most, but I'll always remember it, but I'll never like fully remember is the Link one, the one that looks like Toon Link.
Oh, that little loser.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even fight that because like I don't know about it. I'm sure he's a loser.
It's not
But he looks like
Rakio.
Link.
There's a vice, or there's a division captain called Namur, which is the fishman.
Namor.
Namur.
The
Blenheim.
antagonist of Black Panther 2. The Prince of
Curiel.
Atlantis.
I was thinking of Curiel. Wait, really?
Mm. Yeah, Namor. That's a god. That's the son of
Oh,
Neptune or whatever.
wait. It's
Namor?
he's
Yeah.
the main villain in what movie?
Black Panther 2.
Wait, really?
Yep.
I don't even
Namor.
remember that. Dude, Black Panther 2 was such a fever dream.
It was a fever dream I like the movie, but it stood separate from the rest. It was so disconnected and there was no connection to the other movies other than like they needed to pass on the mantle of the Black Panther thing, so it's like
Yeah.
whatever, you know. But like
Yeah.
but I that movie was one of my favorites of the newer Black Panther movies. Or not Black Panther, Marvel movies. If there's such a thing as good Marvel movies now. You guys tell me. I don't know. I don't care.
So Curiel is who I was thinking of. Whitebeard commanders are crazy. He has so many.
It's interesting because now I think about it, there's like 3 milk characters here. There's Ushiano, Moda the milkmaid, and Komamil, coffee milk. Oda's doing something with milk too.
Yeah, he's milking it.
Yeah,
Maybe
really
that's
milking it.
a hint towards the ancient weapon Uranus. You never know.
Yeah. It's like, Frankie is powered by Kobla. Imagine if you were powered by milk. I mean, technically, like babies are powered by milk. Like you can't give babies water for like the first 6 months of their life. You have to just give them milk. So, like technically, humanity is powered by milk.
Yeah. It
Mommy's
goes
milk.
back to the mother thing.
Yeah. Mother Flame could just be like milking moms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that more.
Yeah, so something
Anyways,
about that. So we see King Elizabello, which is
Yeah.
his throne is kind of funny. It's literally just like a giant crown on top of it.
Yeah,
I thought that was
is it
kind
a
of goofy.
pumpkin?
It looks like a pumpkin, but it's not shaped like a pumpkin.
But his right hand is shaped like a pumpkin.
Oh, Dagama.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking like he was like a Humpty Dumpty kind of fellow, like that guy from the Revs.
No, we already have that guy. There can't be 2. There can't be 3 eggs.
Yeah, but
We
there's
already
like the
got that.
OG egg.
No, we got Baron Tamago.
Baron
actual-
Tamago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Baron Tamago came first, and then Dogma, and then we got whatever that guy's name was.
And we have Egghead, whatever that egg is, and then we have Roger's egg. Oda likes eggs.
Yeah, he's a big egg fan.
Yeah, wonder what's gonna do. Oh, we also have Luffy's shirt when he's a kid. That's a fun one
Yeah,
too.
Tamago Jiken.
Chapter 583, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a lot of eggs here. So
Yeah.
they're over here confirming Lelucia. Love to see it. And then we go down, and we even see Baltimore too. All of those cold people.
Shout outs to Baltimore, the only place that cares.
Yeah, they actually they're like, hey, Vegapunk, it's okay. And it's kind of funny. It's like, dude, like Vegapunk can't hear you. He's dead, you know?
Yeah.
They're just talking to a screen.
Yeah. And you know what's also sad too? Like like these people, they have a positive, obviously this is Vegapunk's hometown, everything, but Vegapunk apologized, right? When he was a kid. I cannot save you from your terrible situation of this frozen
Blistering
barren thing
frozen winds.
because I can't geothermal tap. But hey, and then Vegapunk is like has already calmly solved the problem, like for years now. And he never like went back here to like, hey guys, this thing that I built within like 1 year, here you go, less than a year even.
He couldn't waste his time with these guys, man. And plus, like, it's expensive. It's government funded. Like,
Yeah, which is
like
why
how
I
would
was saying,
if you were Vegapunk's handler, right? You give this guy money, and Vegapunk says, "Hey, I invented this geothermal technology for Egghead. It's great. It works. Can you give me that same amount of money so I can go give it to Baltimore?" Like, nah, dude, you shoot him down.
I don't even think it needed that much money. Vegapunk did that with like so quickly, but the reason why I'm saying it's crazy is because they already devoted so much money to Vegapunk on this island. Because remember, his childhood laboratory was government protected
Yeah, it was like
all
Batman's
these years.
cave.
Yeah, they protected it all these years. They devoted an actual like Frankie couldn't upfront fight these guys. Frankie ran and just exploded the thing, and then that became it. It was considered a national treasure, and they were maintaining like the place was maintained too. Like so, it's like they were actually devoting so much money to this place too on behalf of Vegapunk, and this is Vegapunk's like old lab. Like you can't like Vegapunk's old lab basically looks like Punk Hazard and the other thing. Like Frankie was able to do all of his upgrades in that lab. Everything.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So
like,
that's so he could have probably done the same thing over the last like what? I'm sure Vegapunk knew how to make sky clouds for mad long because he also said that he was going to do the same thing, make the sky cloud in Punk Hazard. That was his plan all along. So
yeah.
it's like that was 4 years ago. Yeah, he's plenty of time. If he could do this willy nilly wherever he wants to, and like yeah, I'm sure if he really cared to, he could. That's the,
No, no.
and that,
Punk
but then no,
Hazard's
that's
another like government island, though. You know,
no, but that's the thing, because
it's
these guys are like
expensive.
Vegapunk. It's not your fault. Usually, right? Like when a billionaire, millionaire, they make the come up, and then like, the people still love them from their hometown. It's because they come back to their hometown and give them all this stuff, right? Like you think about like I forget there was a few soccer players, basketball players, but then also just like rich people in general. They always go back to their hometown. They hook them up. I'm thinking like Mr. Deeds too. He gave everyone his hometown Ferraris, and they're like, "Yo, Adam Sandler's the dude." And Adam Sandler did that in real life. All of his buddies are Hollywood stars. That's them.
Hey, I'll
And so
just travel with them.
whereas these guys are like, "Oh man, it's okay, Vegapunk. You never
Hey,
helped us
it's
out for
just
all
like you,
these."
man. Like they're a personality guy, right? Like they don't care about the money. They just love Vegapunk's nice personality.
Yo,
He's a
when you
good
put it
guy.
that way, that makes sense why my instant reaction was like, yo, these guys are my favorite. That's what I said on stream. And I'm saying that now. I'm just saying that it's sad that Vegapunk doesn't care about them. You know.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
saying that the Baltimore guys are bad. Like these guys are the probably the most wholesome group here.
Well, okay.
Like
What if
they
like by the end of this message, what if Vegapunk does care? Like the final parts of the message aren't the name. It's not the name of the ancient kingdom. It's not Void Sentry, not Joy Boy, not Emu. He says, "Okay, now for the last 5 minutes, I dedicate this to Baltimore." And then he just starts like giving us a nice heartwarming spiel, like, "Oh man, I remember when this guy gave me tea. You know, you guys helped me build my lab. There's this old lady down the street. I helped her like cut down a tree one time."
then we go there we go. But you know it'd be a slap in the face is at the end of it he explains all the tech that he made that could have saved the world, but the world government never let, like the microwave, the cloud thing. And then they're like, wait, the clouds, those exist, like all the star, like like where T-Bone is from, or not
Yeah.
T-Bone, the Pepe Kingdom where they're starving. They're like, wait, they have a microwave that can make all the food in the world, and he can give it to us, but the world government stopped us, and that starts like a riot. All these countries that could be saved by Vegatech, but was put deprioritized for weapons of mass destruction like pacifistas. Like, how would you feel about this? Like, you could get food, you could get summer vacations, all this stuff, right? And then you just see Kuma's face, and they put all the money to this guy. Everyone would hate Kuma. That's so obnoxious. You know what I mean?
No, I'm a hard ass though, dude. Like my mindset, like I'm not even joking, but like my mindset would be like, well, it's my fault. Cause I wouldn't like why would I rely on the government to help me?
Do you think Vegapunk's gonna give us any information about Lunarians and Buccaneers?
Um,
Because
no.
he studied them, and like I mean, he's not it's not like in the scope of like apologizing for them. I don't expect that. But for the reason that like the peak of humanity, according to him, are these seraphims, and they're based off the Lunarians. And if we're talking about the ancient kingdom and we're talking about ancient times, these ancient races of Lunarians and Buccaneers feels like something that he also knows a lot about, and also is like something that like Saturn was wary to have people know about, right? Because like even when Carrying Devon brought up Blackbeard, like I'm not saying that he's Buccaneer, Lunarian, whatever, but I am saying that like the nuance of the race stuff also almost garnered a weird reaction from the Gorosei to this extent, where I'm like, I wonder if he's gonna bring up like the Lunarian stuff, because also Whitebeard had information about the previous land of gods being Lunarians possibly, and that like now the Celestial Dragons are there, and if Vegapunk's giving us the facts, and like someone like Whitebeard had that information, we don't know how much he knew or where he got that information. But maybe Vegapunk also knows about that. And maybe he tells us like the land before the Celestial Dragons was the Lunarians. The Lunarians, and then he shows us like a Seraphim or something like that. And he explains that. And I was just thinking about that. That would be an interesting segue that would kind of take us on a fun detour in this conversation.
Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, I really like that route. It's just hard. It's hard to see because like it's like what is he gonna tell us, right? Like,
Yeah.
we got the world sinking, we got the ancient weapons. He could go, like, the race route where he's like, hey, like, Lunarians are cool, Buccaneers are cool. But Buccaneers is a weird one because I feel like everything we want to know about Buccaneers, we won't get in this message. Like, you know, when we saw Kuma, like, roll up here, and then Vegapunk was like, oh, wait, so the Buccaneers, you're telling me they can... And then it's like, okay, so that's not going to be in the message. Right. So it's like, right. Buccaneer route, like, we're not going to get too much from that. But Lunarians could be cool. Because, you know, he could tie in their homeland to the Ancient Kingdom, maybe. But it's hard because, like, next chapter is probably going to be about the Ancient Robot and what that's doing. And it's like, okay, like, maybe a good way to, like, go into it is that maybe when the Gorosei fight the Ancient Robot, they're like, okay, this was the peak of technology back in the past. So let's bring out the peak of technology here in the present. So he brings out the Seraphim. Like, Venus is like, okay, let's release these guys and have them fight the Ancient Robot. So we could have, like, you know, peak versus peak when it comes to technology. And then and then while that's going on, we get Vegapunk's message about the robot, Lunarians, and all that stuff. I could see that. But it's weird because it's like Vegapunk's dead. So, like, that must mean that, you know, everything is pre-recorded. So it's like, it would be funny if everything just keeps on perfectly lining up with the events that are happening right now. And you would think that, like, for a message like this, he would just try to be in and out as soon as possible. But, I mean, he's taking his time. So, I mean, you know, anything can go.
Yeah.
But plus, he also just called out the Roger Pirates, too, right? Like, the last thing he ended off was like, hey, Roger Pirates, what the hell are they doing? So it's like, would he go back to the Ancient Robot all of a sudden? I have no idea where he's going, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what made this chapter, like I said, like so interesting because, like, yeah, he pulled in the Roger Pirates.
He's jumping,
and brought into question again their decision, something that we questioned in chapter 506, 507, when Roger did his action of getting executed, and we knew that he didn't get executed, he chose to die rather than die to his illness and all that nuance. Plus, when Usopp asked and Robin asked, he said, you got to come to your own answer. And now Vegapunk is just spilling the beans, and we tie in like the weird thing, right, where it's like Sengoku is stuffing his face, almost like he doesn't want to say anything. He doesn't want to open his mouth. Like, Suru probably doesn't know all of this. That's what it feels like to me. That's what it feels like. But given the position of Fleet Admiral, Sengoku probably knows. Kind of like being the president of the United States. When you become the president of the United States, you're sworn, like, when you're sworn in, you are given the state secrets by the previous president, stuff that, like, you don't, like, it's not, like, recorded, and we don't, like, write down, and we don't know. I don't think it's ever been released, period. Yeah. Which is why, like, people say, like, Obama like slightly leaked that aliens exist by giving us a non-answer and stuff like that. And I forgot there was all this conspiracy stuff about the alien stuff, which is ironic because then later on we had the whole thing about, like, the various organizations basically coming together, making another faction to do alien research or whatever, and that's like a real thing. But all that aside, we talked about that in 50/50. We see it come with the Kainu saying, like, everything, you're going to explain everything, Vegapunk. And the fact that he says everything makes it seem like he knows more than what the message lies on, and he also knows what Vegapunk is capable of releasing. And it also seems like he's not surprised by anything that Vegapunk has said. Everybody else has been surprised about the sinking, about the Nika, about this and that. He's like, bro, you're going to say everything? That implies that he knew. It makes sense if he's a fleet admiral and they know. It makes sense that if he's going to the Gorosei's room, maybe he knows more secrets. But saying everything is wild. Now, if we run that back to Sengoku and Kong or whatever, then boom, we have this weird nuance that, like, the fleet admirals know about, like, what Vegapunk is implying that the Roger pirates knew about, and then it becomes an even crazier question because it gets loaded. Like when Roger went to Laugh Tale and they knew everything, like did Sengoku also know? Like, isn't that weird?
I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, it might be a little bit weird. I don't know about Laugh Tale. Like right now, it seems like they just know about the ancient weapons and maybe the sinking.
Right. But like, okay, so you're in the boat. The Gorosei know more than what Vegapunk knows.
Yes, the Gorosei knows more. Okay, so this is the hierarchy right now.
Yeah, yeah, do that, do that.
Gorosei at the very top, along with Emu, of course. So Gorosei, Vegapunk, Fleet Admirals. And then the Roger Pirates are above, like, the Roger Pirates are, like, right below Gorosei, or, like, at the same level as Gorosei.
Okay. Because, I don't, it is weird.
Because I don't think the Fleet Admirals know, like, what's, I think they know about, I mean, obviously Laugh Tale, but, like, I don't think they know what's there.
Yeah, like what's there and what the true history is, I don't think they would know that,
Yeah.
right? Like when Whitebeard goes, the One Piece is real, and Sengoku starts sweating bullets, what weight did that mean to him, right? Like, cause it, like,
his job's not over.
He's
like,
yeah,
I gotta fight more people, damn it.
Like, he's like, he resigned
More
right
pirates.
after, and you know, if he knows about the world sinking, he knows about the ancient weapon being like, because the other thing is, this is all after Vegapunk gave the evidence of ancient weapons not just existing but being used actively right now to destroy Lelucia, and that is something that he is basically not co-signing but basically saying he is aware of. And so like that's wild, because the other part of it was, if you go back, remember our conversations around Lelucia, we were talking about like what happens when the admirals find out about Lelucia. Would they turn coat? And one of the admirals being Akainu, and at the time we didn't have the nuance that like he would know about this.
Yeah.
We were thinking like if he's brought with the facts that his government destroyed Lelucia indiscriminately, that would be not the main thing that would make him turn, but like a heavy token in that direction. But now it's like, no, he knew.
Akainu knows, dude.
Yeah, and so you know,
it makes
going
me
back
wonder
to
where he draws the line, right? Like for Akainu, like he's probably okay with like destroying a country or two. Like it doesn't matter as long as in the grand scheme, like the Navy wins or like justice prevails. You know, like Akainu is one of those guys that doesn't care about the sacrifices made along the way. But at some point, I mean, Akainu's logical, right? Like at some point, he's going to like draw the line and be like, okay, now we're killing too many people, right? Like at some point, it's like, okay, now everybody's going to die. So it makes me wonder if like eventually the world government will push the buttons too much. Like maybe he doesn't want the world to sink, right? Like he's okay with destroying a couple of countries because they're revolting, but if the whole world's going to go to shit, then maybe we got to stop it. I do wonder where the fleet admirals draw the line when it comes to that. And I think that's going to be really interesting to see too for Akainu especially.
Here's the other, because your hierarchy was really interesting to me, because you said Gorosei, Emu, and then you said, well, do you feel there's a distinction between Emu and Gorosei?
Yeah.
Like Emu is top, and then it's probably like Emu, Roger Pirates, Gorosei maybe like line in line, maybe even Roger Pirates above, because maybe they have like the Nika stuff, maybe they have the Lily stuff, like the letter stuff, like all that. It might be that they have two sides, like the Gorosei have like the world government side of the Void Century, and the Roger Pirates have the other half, right? And Emu has everything or most of everything, and then beneath them, it gets questionable, right? Where it's like, where does Vegapunk and where does Akainu? Because if in this conversation we think that Akainu is knowledgeable about like what's happening with Lucia, do you think that means that he knows what they used?
Yeah.
So do you think Vegapunk?
I mean, before all this, I mean, he like at this point in the message when Akainu says everything, like Vegapunk already dropped that Lelucia was due to Uranus, or not Uranus specifically, but he said ancient weapon.
Right.
So,
and
I do believe so. I mean, if Crocodile knows about Pluton, I think Akainu knowing about Uranus would make sense.
Well, like the difference is, Crocodile knows of the lore of Pluton. He doesn't know what it's like he doesn't necessarily know what's capable of, where it is, what it looks like,
Yeah.
where it's from, originates, right? Vegapunk seems to know where it originates. He might even know where they are if he's read any of the poneglyphs that Robin has, or it doesn't make sense if he would, because he can't. There's no world where Vegapunk has gotten to Sky Island because we were there, unless in the last 2 years he went there. But that goes back, like, when would he have the time, right? But like, according to Gonfall, the Straw Hats were the only other people to have been able to go there, and it wouldn't make sense for other people to have gone there because it was such a there was a war being fought. Every faction was trying to commandeer. Anel was there, you know. Anel was also there in recent history. So like it would be weird if other people made it there. Like theoretically, if Roger came in modern times, he would have to have fought Anel to make it up to the top. So like that wouldn't make sense. So but and you'd have to read that poneglyph to know about Poseidon, other than Poseidon from Neptune. So there's a world where Vegapunk knows like the generics of the ancient weapons, kind of like how when Roger showed up to Neptune and he's just like, we're looking for the names, we don't know who they are, what they are, blah blah, but we just know
Yeah.
like what they can do, blah blah. So like, whereas the distinction I'm making is, does if Vegapunk has the generics, and remember yesterday we were talking about, you made a Yu-Gi-Oh card analogy, like Vegapunk has the description, he has the name maybe, but he doesn't have the picture. Do you think Akainu has the picture and the description and the name for Uranus?
No.
Mm,
I
that's
think he just has
interesting.
like the descriptor.
Mm, mm. And do you think he has the description of all of them? Because that would also be interesting with Fishman Island and how they get treated too. Because that's something I've said. So a long time ago, I said that the world government is aware of, including like the admirals, not the admirals, but like the navy, that like back in Otahime's time, Otahime probably divulged like Poseidon. She kind of roughly said that she would use that power. That would be something. The seeing Poseidon revived gave her the courage to go up to the marriage law, and then to her kids. Her kids said, "So that power would be very, very useful for you to bring peace." And she goes, "Yes, it would be very useful for me to do this." So she confirms that she would be leveraging that power, and so that would imply that the information of Poseidon would be kind of divulged. And now, if the fleet admirals know about it, it's kind of interesting. And so, I guess my next question would be: do you think it's just the fleet admirals, or do you think that like the admirals plus Garp probably knows like some things here and there?
I think Garp is just like how Garp is like an anomaly within the vice admirals. I think he's also an anomaly when it comes to the knowledge as well.
Mm-hmm,
I think
mm-hmm.
he knows a lot of this as too. But
Do you think Roger told him anything?
oh yeah, for sure, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm.
As far as the regular admirals go, that's a hard one to put down because we haven't really seen any of them react yet, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's all guessing. Like, we haven't seen we have not seen Kizaru since the start of this message. We haven't seen Green Bull. We haven't seen Fujitora. Kuzan's hitting us with the ... So, you know, it's questionable whether or not he knows. So I would say, based off of what we have right now, I think that they know a little bit, but they know less than obviously the fleet admiral.
Yeah. And the reason why I brought that up is
Like, maybe
because,
it's like the Phantom Room. Like, they heard rumors. They're like, well, you know, I heard
right.
there might be a sinking. There might be like this weapon thing. I don't know.
And the reason why I
Could
brought
just be
all that
office
up
talk.
was because the end of the chapter's odd with like how Vegapunk, to me it's a little odd in the sense of like, I don't blame Vegapunk for questioning it. Like, why did Roger do this? Blah blah. That's fine, right? And I was joking on stream how it's like, well, Roger didn't have the value of having the reputation that Vegapunk has, where it's like, if Roger was screaming at the top of the execution gallows, guys, the world is sinking, blah 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 blah. No one, everyone would be like, yeah, this Noland ass buffoon, right? Like they would regard him like Noland, whereas
Yeah.
Vegapunk has the authority of being the world's smartest man, has saved, even Big News Morgan said he's the light of the world. He also said something that was verified while he was on the call. And so he has all that. Roger couldn't have done it the way Vegapunk did, right? And then we go with the Rayleigh part where it's like Rayleigh saying he's saying things too early. But Akainu gives us another perspective of characters that know that history to a certain
Yeah.
extent, and they're choosing to operate. And so if like I already like my Godfather Shanks video, I already analyzed like if you know the history of the world, how would you act? We would have to dissect all of their actions to figure out like what this would mean. And so in the Godfather Shanks video, I said based off of Rayleigh and Crocus, that means that in the future there's going to be a sinking. That's in that video, right? But now it's really confusing, not that logic, because now I feel like I have to apply that to Akainu and the fleet admirals. If they know this history and they know everything like that, then Vegapunk could ask the same question. Why would the fleet admirals withhold this information? Why are they not doing anything? Why am I not getting funding to prevent the world from sinking? Why am I getting funding to create the world sinking, right? And then that's the whole thing, because Akainu, Vegapunk is saying that his weapon was used to sink the world, to further perpetuate it, right? And which would mean that Akainu knows that this weapon exists and he is actively participating in sinking the world. So then it's like, why would that be Akainu's prerogative, and why is he okay with it, and why is he not okay with it being said, right? Because it feels like if we were to separate Akainu from the world government, that's where it would draw the line. Wait a second. Why am I also sinking the world, right? Like I'm not the fleet admiral to sink innocent people who do good, right? It's like a weird dichotomy of what's happening and what's being told, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just so cool, I guess, that like Oda's now giving us this perspective. It feels like Oda's lining us up for a huge, way more than I think like before. Like during Wano, we could have ever expected of like a exposition of the Marines and the admirals and Akainu. We're giving them like that. This singular panel was like a shock in my brain. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna know so much about the Marines now, and I'm excited because that's probably like, I'm not a Marine. I don't remember every single vice admiral like you, but I like One Piece. I like Marines. I want to know more. I want to know more about Garp.
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah. That Marine spinoff needs to happen, man. We got to see their perspective. And I feel like we will, too. I feel like we will get that Akainu 100%. Backstory, Garp backstory. And we're going to, like, at least learn, like, why they do what they do, or, like, how they weigh things.
Yeah, Oda did say that's the thing he wants to write the most about. He wants to eventually write about the Marines. When he asked that question, he said, I want to write more about everybody connected to Garp and Marines, and in line with that was Dragon, and then he ended up talking about Luffy's birth, and he said that I'll just write about how Luffy was born. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy, but like, yeah, that would kind of, you know, it's an interesting timeline of things where Dragon had Luffy, Ivankov didn't even know about it, Kuma didn't know about it, he's just had a kid, and he left the Marines at an old age, and Garp might know the history, and the fleet admirals know the history. It's all crazy stuff. It's all crazy stuff.
So before we get there, though, to the Akainu portion, we do see Vegapunk talk about the ancient weapons. We see Momonosuke. And we get something interesting. I can't tell if Momonosuke was about to spill something new. I feel like he was, considering that Kinemon shushes him up. And, you know, yeah, that's what they would do outside of this. But, you know, Oda's putting this in front of our faces, too, right? Pluton is ... shush. And it's like, okay, wait, like, what could he have said here? Right? Because before that, Vegapunk only talked about how the ancient weapon destroyed Leloucia, the ancient weapon is fueled by the Mother Flame, or at least Uranus was, and how the disaster was man-made. And it's like, okay, like, what could Momonosuke have extrapolated from that? Was he going to say, oh, then Pluton is something that needs Mother Flame, Pluton is something that could sink the world, or Pluton is... Well, no, he knows it's an ancient weapon, right?
He also knows that it could sink the world too, because that's. I imagine if Sukiyaki told Robin and Law.
Yeah.
Then
Momonosuke
and
should know.
He has the journal. He has the journal, and he has Zunisha. So like, the thing is, like, Momo should know exact, like.
A good amount.
I'm not gonna say exactly, but like, I don't even know if the appearance of Pluton would shock him. You know what I mean?
I don't think it would.
Yeah, because he has Zunisha.
And he has Odin's journal.
He should know the ramifications of opening the walls. He should. So, like, I don't think that's like a shocker. And he knows it's an ancient weapon, right? Like, that's. If Sukiyaki knows, right? Like, then, yeah, Odin's journal and Zunisha combine it. And then that would make sense as to, what the Gorosei considered a very strategic decision to keep the walls closed, right? And yeah, like it's interesting because like everything that happened to Lucia sounded like it was Pluton. There's people who
What
think that it was Pluton.
what if
But
wait, real quick. What if what got Momonosuke buttered up was when Vegapunk said that the disaster is man-made?
why would that be? In what context would Momo care about that part? Because when you know it's a ship, when you know Pluton is a ship.
Yeah, but that's what's shocking though, right?
Uh-huh.
Like what if what Pluton is, like the form it's taking up, what if it doesn't look like it? Like Vegapunk saying it's man-made shocks him. He's like, wait, what? Like Pluton is ... Oh,
I see. Okay, so then it's similar to like so he's saying the disaster that flooded the world was man-made, right? He's not saying the ancient weapon, like the ancient weapons Joy Boy passed on them and they were created by did he say yet that they were created by the ancient kingdom?
No.
So he's like, so that separates it to me where it's like the disaster was man-made, meaning it was created by someone wielding the ancient weapon. Because like I understand what you're saying. You're saying like it's a ship, but it might not be a ship. Like for example, Sake's theory that it's a mole, right? Like if it that would fit in line with Shirahoshi is Poseidon. So how is that a man-made thing? If I knew about Poseidon and he said Poseidon was man-made, that would be like, no, that's a girl. Technically, man did make that because like she was conceived, but like like
it's a weird one.
Yeah, but I think he's talking more like the flood was man-made. But again, the other side of that nuance is, he could be thinking like, wait, because for me, like what Momo was saying here, there was two parts I was thinking about. It's like, well, based off of Vegapunk's description of what happened to Leloucia, it sounded like Pluton did it because that's what Pluton's description is. Vaporizing an island, destroying it, whatever. That's what happened to Leloucia. That's the description of Pluton. A lot of people have thought that. Even though that Pluton is like an earth-bound naming structure, Poseidon is water, Uranus is sky. Something destroying from the sky makes sense it's Uranus. I have a theory that Pluton is a cloud in the sky, but that's a whole different conversation. Go back and watch that. With this, it's like, I was thinking more along the lines of like, maybe he's confused of like, wait, there are more ancient weapons than just Pluton, because from what we know that Momo knows, he doesn't know about Shirahoshi, who's an ancient weapon. He doesn't know about Uranus. We have never heard of anything about Uranus. All he knows is that Pluton is an ancient weapon and an ancient weapon exists. But it's not like King Neptune. It's like Sukiyaki never said the same. Actually, no, he did say the class of ancient weapons, right? So implying that there was more.
Yeah, but like King Neptune, this point though, Vegapunk hasn't said that there were 3 ancient weapons by the time Momonosuke said it.
True. There were once 3. Oh, you're right.
They say that after we see the Momonosuke panel. What's really cool too is that we see Crocodile in the panel where they're like, "Hey, there's once 3 great ancient weapons," and it's like, "Yo, Crocodile's probably like super excited, man." Because he was aiming for Pluton the entire time, and we don't know like what Crocodile does and doesn't know, right? Like just like all the rest of the characters we've been talking about, we don't know how much they know.
Yeah.
But Crocodile, now that he knows that there's 3 of them, maybe he's like, "Yo, you're telling me there's more of these guys? Like, it wasn't just Pluton. I can go after Uranus. I can go after Poseidon," which would be pretty cool. But obviously he doesn't know that Poseidon is Shirahoshi. He doesn't know where Uranus is. But maybe this reinvigorates him, right? Because Crocodile did talk about wanting to up their military power. And I mean, the best way to do that is by getting an ancient weapon.
Yeah.
Which, if Cross Guild goes to Wano, man, Pluton is right there. Like, you got the Poneglyph room, and then you have Pluton right below it. It's like, yo, it could happen. It could happen. Could be accidental.
No, I was thinking just now, actually, as you mentioned that like, it's funny because like, technically, does like Crocodile just run it back to Alabasta to figure it out? And it's like,
that'd be crazy.
It would be open season. Vivi's not there and Cobra's not there. This is like literally, this is his fever dream. This is
feel bad for him though. Like, imagine going all the way back to Alabasta, and then you read the Poneglyph with, you got somebody who could read a Poneglyph, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, this Poneglyph says it's in Wano." It's like, God damn it, I got to go all the way over there now. That'd be a
But
waste of time.
like you said about the Wano thing, he might not even need to go back to Alabasta. And I was just thinking like if they choose to do divide and conquer like Cross Guild kind of does, then like Mihawk and Crocodile could end up going separate ways of like trying to acquire these things. But what might end up happening is Crocodile might run interference with Blackbeard. And so like it might be that it's not necessarily that they're chasing after these things. They're kind of following suit of like following the leader in a certain way. What are these guys doing, right? Because technically Buggy's keeping tab of everybody. So it could be that like once these people move, just like how Shanks is doing, right? Shanks is like Buggy. The thing is like Buggy's well equipped in that front, right? Like he knows he has the knowledge of how the Pirate King operates, and just like Shanks, right? So it's like they know like how to lead. Like Buggy knows how to lead, Shanks knows how to lead. So if whatever Shanks does, I would imagine Buggy would do the similar thing. And if he's following Blackbeard, I could see Buggy doing the same thing, collecting information. And then if you
Ooh.
just run counter to Blackbeard, then you end up in all the right places.
Wait, what if we could go a different route? What if, like a lot of people, myself included, like we think that Doflamingo will join Cross Guild. Like there's gonna be an Impel Down breakout. Doflamingo will join. What if Doflamingo knows where Pluton is?
Why would Doflamingo know Pluton? Specifically, you said specifically Pluton.
Yeah, I mean maybe like all the ancient weapons even.
Yeah, so because the reason why I asked why Pluton is because, like you said, we don't know we don't know what Crocodile knows, but we also don't know how he knows about Pluton. And Pluton was the weirdest ancient weapon. It's the most known one. Spandam was searching for the blueprints. How do you even figure that out, right? Like, and it's like, and again, if you go back to the flashback, the Gorosei didn't even want the blueprints that badly. Spandam did because he wanted like the brownie points. They were like, it's whatever, we can get it. It's not that big of a deal. And then once Spandam pushed the envelope, they're like, all right, you have unlimited resources. Go get it. Stop being in our ear, right? And if you follow that train of like, if Pluton is that well known, yeah, maybe Doflamingo does know. Doflamingo also said he knows that there's a secret treasure, which these weapons are kind of considered to be, like in that regard, like these kingdoms treasures.
Yeah.
Then maybe Doflamingo was talking about Uranus, but also maybe the same way that Crocodile knows about Pluton, and maybe the same way that Spandam knows about Pluton, is how Doflamingo knows about Pluton. So maybe you might be right. That's what I was wondering. Is like, if Doflamingo knows, then maybe we can find a cross section of how they would know. And I don't know where that would be, but it being a ship already, like, the blueprints are there, but then Tom was hiding them. So it's like, how does that leak out? I don't really know. And I do like the idea because I didn't consider it. Like, yeah, Doflamingo in the ancient weapon race would be insane, right? He would be insane. So if Cross Guild ends up crossing roads with Doflamingo, he's the last. Crossroads had the last opening, and it's empty, and that was what the name was. And Doflamingo fills that gap. He's the ancient weapon guy. He figures out where it is, and he figures out how to get them. Like
Ancient weapon and insane. A money guy too.
True.
Yeah. The underworld comes with Doflamingo. Like, there's so many benefits to getting Doflamingo on your side.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if we were Cross Guild, right? How high of a priority are you putting Doflamingo?
Damn near at the top.
Yeah.
Like, I think Doflamingo. I mean, Crocodile's a mastermind, so I don't want to undersell him. But I do think Crocodile and Doflamingo would be on equal footing.
Okay.
I mean, then again, Oda has shown them on equal footing a lot, though.
Okay, and if we're that dastardly, we're like, okay, we're going straight to Impel Down, baby. Let's go. How many resources are we devoting? Are we just sending a Mihawk, a Crocodile?
We're sending everybody. I mean, for me, as much as I love the divide and conquer strategy, I feel like that only works in early areas of a game. We're at the end tier stage, like if we're gonna do something. And we're going against like other Yonko crews. We're going against the Marines, the Holy Knights, the Celestials. Like, we got to move as a group. We got to move as a unit. Like divide and conquer, in my opinion, doesn't work anymore. Like, I mean, well, maybe with the knowledge that, like, Whole Cake Island doesn't have Big Mom, sure. Wano doesn't have Kaido, sure. But like for Impel Down, I feel like we got to move like Crocodile and Mihawk.
Okay, now separate to this, okay? This is like a world breaking conversation right now. How okay. Crocodile was in Impel Down. He's a Devil Fruit user. They slap on some Sea Stone chains. They lock him up. Rough. Once he gets the chains out, he can melt through the walls, get it. He's tough to keep down. Magellan would be able to apparently do it, right? Like he wouldn't be too afraid of Logias. He could just venom the whole thing. But then Crocodile escaping is another thing. Like via ship or whatever, right? Mihawk. How do you detain Mihawk?
You don't, dude.
You could just have to kill him, right?
You can't detain Mihawk, and you can't even beat Mihawk. Like, I know, like, Crocodile versus Magellan, that's kind of a rough one. Because, Crocodile ran from him all, like, throughout Impel Down, which, Crocodile maybe got stronger, but I don't know if he's Magellan strong yet. But Mihawk's a different story, right? Like, you can't beat this guy. Like, unless you're Zoro, you can't beat him. And then, even then, Magellan talked about Shiryu. He's like, oh, Shiryu, that guy's, like, my equal, Like, I'm the yin, he's the yang. Like, if we're saying that about Shiryu, Mihawk's gonna stop him.
Mihawk, like, okay. That's why I asked how many resources are you sending when you have a Mihawk. Now, I don't want to go the route of Twitter glazing Mihawk as the number one in the verse, but like, does Mihawk just solo raid?
I think Mihawk would solo raid, but the reason why I want to bring more resources here is because releasing every prisoner out of Impel Down is like grunt work. That's like tedious, cage by cage, monitor by monitor. Like, I think that's why we need like Crocodile and the rest of Cross Guild.
Conqueror's Hockey would be able to just freeze everybody, and then he flexes like Shanks level Conqueror's Hockey, and just immediately everyone's obedient to
Mihawk
him, right?
doesn't seem like a flexer though. Like, he'll show up to
Really,
places.
the slash across Marineford.
Yeah, one slash, and then he's like, well, that's it.
But that was him slashing the iceberg when he meant to hit Luffy. That's not a flex.
That was just a casual swing, dude.
All of Don Krieg's fleet casually, and then just diddling their bullets.
Like, that was just Mihawk on a casual day, dude. Like, Mihawk was like, well, I was bored.
Right? If him casually is that insane, does Impel Down stand a chance against?
No, it doesn't. But the question was flexing though. Like, Mihawk has never once been like, okay, let me show you what I can really do, and then like Conquer Saki goes crazy. He hasn't done that yet. It's not like in his character.
But that's why I'm pairing it with, like, if you think that Mihawk can solo raid Impel Down, casually he could probably detain everybody on level 6 alone, right? Isn't he supposed to be that strong? Yeah. Isn't that what the world, like, if we put Shanks in Impel Down level 6, he beats everybody alone, right?
Yeah. I mean, Mihawk pretty much too. Like, anything Shanks can do, Mihawk can do too.
Right. And that's why it's weird, because I'm like, dang, Impel Down raid would be weird to throw Mihawk into. That's why I'm like, I don't think Mihawk goes. I don't think there's a world where Oda... Because if Oda sent Mihawk and Mihawk has, like, resistance there, that would feel weird.
But would he get resistance?
But if we think... Like, if we're talking about Impel Down to Mihawk like it's butter, then it would be... If sending him there and it's butter to him, that would... Because the people talk about Impel Down like it's going to be another Luffy raid kind of thing. But like, and I've talked about it too, but I've talked about it in a restricted sense. Like, we can't send that many people there. Even in the sense of Cross Guild going there, I can't see. Buggy's already been there. Crocodile's already been there. Mihawk hasn't been there. But if you had sent Mihawk there, it's like all you would need is a Mihawk. And then, yeah, you send some grunt work. You just send his ship. But it's like, then the divide and conquer works, but then it makes Impel Down so laughably easy that it wouldn't even be an arc. It would be like a single cover.
I mean, that's it is right now for Luffy, right? Like, if Luffy Gear 5th went to Impel Down, he'd beat
so we're not sending Luffy.
He beat everybody.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We're not in no world.
But for a strategist though, why would you want to challenge? Like, sending Mihawk is like best, right?
And that's why
for like a storytelling thing. Yeah, for a storytelling thing, you don't want to send Mihawk. And but if you want to speed things up and if you want to be logical, you do send Mihawk.
Right.
So maybe you see it in the opposite light where it's like, well, from a storytelling perspective, you send Mihawk because that's what anybody would do.
like, but this is why, you know, like we meme on so many things in the story, and we get like it's goofy, but there's a
Yeah.
storytelling aspect, and there's so many times where we're like, if we were in the One Piece world, we would
But
fucking
but here's the thing too,
right?
like if you don't send Mihawk, like think about the opposite, right? You don't send Mihawk, you send
Right.
Crocodile, Alvida, Mr. Like, you know, like
Right, that's what
you
I'm
gotta
saying.
send
It's
Mihawk at this
weird.
point. Like you have to.
Yeah. And then here's the laughable part, right? Because you have to send somebody that can scare Doflamingo and like recruit him. Mihawk is that guy, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like
Well,
between
it's
Mihawk
Mihawk
and
and
Doflamingo.
Crocodile. Because
Right,
Crocodile's the negotiator.
True. Crocodile would be
So,
but
so
like
that's why I think we send all of Crossguild there, because like I mean literally that is all of Crossguild. Like Buggy will follow
Yeah.
these guys so that, you know, he's protected. So Buggy's not gonna be like, hey, you guys go here, I'm gonna go here. No, Buggy's gonna follow these dudes, and they have a ship too. They have the Big Top Blaster, so they're probably gonna travel together. You know, I bet they have
Blaster.
grunt ships, but they got a main flagship, so
Yeah.
they're
But-
all
and
gonna
then-
go as a group.
But it's also funnier because like one of the hardest parts about Impel Down was the escape, right? Like Magellan on their chase, like having to deal with Blackbeard en route. Like how do you like the moment you free Doflamingo also, it's wraps. Like there's nobody who's stopping you if you have Mihawk.
Yeah, all they
and
have is Hannibal,
Doflamingo.
right?
Yeah,
They have Hannibal and
is there.
Magellan. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
Hannibal and Magellan, and that's the only defense of Impel Down, which Magellan is like people. I mean, I myself, like, I think he's like YC1. Like, the guy's really powerful. He's like
Yeah.
up there. Like, his poison fruit, like, it was undefeated. Like, it took
point,
Blackbeard
I
two
want-
run throughs and everybody else to take him down.
At
He
this
ran
point, I
like the
want
entire
Magellan.
Impel Down gauntlet.
I want Magellan to escape. Like he's also like, bro, this place is sinking. What? Like he's sitting there with
Yeah.
Doflamingo, and it looked like to me when I read the thing, it looked like Magellan was consulting with Doflamingo. Like, hey, yo, bro, you're the only guy with competency in
So,
this
like,
prison.
another thing, too, is like Hannibal, right? Like, Hannibal,
Yeah.
kind of a joke, but I do put stocks on him because I think he will have like some sort of glow up. Like, he doesn't seem like a character that.
Have we seen him?
No, we haven't
recently?
seen him yet.
Ooh.
Yeah. And last we saw, you know, he was taking a stand against Luffy, which he lost, of course, but he wouldn't go down. Like, this guy just kept on getting back up. And it's like, yo, if he trained up and if he was serious, he could be a threat in the future, but I don't know
Yeah.
about him. But another
Yeah.
thing with Impel Down, too, is like, what if they don't have to attack Impel Down? Because, like you said, he was consulting with Doflamingo. He said, hey, we might have to go somewhere higher up. What if Magellan's like, yeah, you're right. We have to get all the prisoners out of here. And then while they're out on the open sea, Cross Guild attacks them.
Yeah, there's that world. I mean, there's like another aspect. I know people are gonna bring it up, but Par, you forgot about Green Bull. Like, if Green Bull's still there, like, yeah, that's a resistance, but also like Mihawk, Crocodile, like, and Doflamingo. I think that's isn't. And then you add like, yeah, maybe Weevil got cleaned up by Green Bull, but like once you make it there, I don't even is Green Bull enough
okay,
resistance
Magellan,
for that?
Magellan, Hannibal, and Green Bull versus Crocodile, Weevil, Mihawk, Doflamingo. Like, I gotta give it to the warlords, man.
Yeah, like me, like I'm not like I know Green Bull is going to be strong, is strong, whatever. That's not it. But like,
But he's like the
look at
weakest admiral, though.
Yeah, and then Green Bull is Shanks, like that level of thing. Like if Shanks were fighting, like if Shanks were on the island fighting Green Bull, it would have gone the same way, would it not? It's like people say like, oh yeah, he was bowing down to the entire the oh my god, Shanks'
The red hair crew.
Shanks is red hair crew. I don't know, my brain's fried, but the Shanks' crew, yeah, sure. But let's just put Shanks on the island. Is Green Bull not just stopping? Like, even in the movies, that's how it's depicted with Kizaru and Fujitora. They're like, all right, Shanks is here. It's that scary. And Marineford, all right, Shanks is here, right? Like Green Bull, and the reason why I say Shanks is because like, regardless of where you're at with the Mihawk Shanks things, Mihawk is relative, like the same notoriety. They're clashing, whatever. Like it would be crazy to say that Mihawk doesn't carry the same weight, at least, right? And it's like, if you're putting a Shanks substitute, a Shanks alternative, plus others against Green Bull and Magellan, it's like Mihawk is still clearing, no? Like. And then if you give him resistance, it's like, yeah, sure, throw in an admiral, but it's also like, even Luffy's was casually looking at Green Bull, bro. Luffy, Zoro, Jimmy, they were like, yeah, we could let the little kids fight this admiral. Like, if they were that threatened by it, Luffy would have regarded it as Dressrosa, where he ran up on Fujitora so that everyone else could run away. Wano gave that opposite depiction. Luffy looked at Fujitora and like, I don't need to put my weight here.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about if Fujitora gets ran up by Mihawk. I think it's like it would be like Mihawk would be on the cliff next to Zoro, next to Luffy, be like, yeah, that's hilarious. He wouldn't even be there. He'd be farming with his monkeys, like, you have to get through my monkeys first. And like, I don't know, it's like it.
Yeah, no, like I don't think too many people will be upset by that, right?
Yeah,
I feel like it's pretty tame.
Yeah. But I do like that, going back to the chapter, like Crocodile being brought like forefront like that. That was really cool. It stopped me when I was reading it too, but
he's also so the one reaction that is shaded in black. Out of every reaction we've gotten so far about Vegapunk's message, Crocodile is the only one where the background is completely black. It's like, okay, it's either this guy's doing it in the dark or he's going somewhere.
Yeah, what if he's already at Impel Down?
That'd be crazy.
He's already,
we get like a zoom out next chapter, it's Impel Down.
Yeah. And he's already swinging the keys. He's like, so Doflamingo, do you bend the knee? And he's just like, ha, just you, Crocodile. And then you just see a slash through the entire building. And then Doflamingo's like, God damn it, you brought him too?
Yeah, you brought this Yonko monster, Mihawk?
Yeah,
okay.
And
I'm out.
I don't necessarily care to expand on this conversation, but I feel like we're on the same boat where Doflamingo's a Celestial Dragon. We feel that Crocodile might have something there, but like Mihawk, I think you and I both agree that like Mihawk is like it's like I feel like 90-80% that he's
I think Mihawk's a Celestial Dragon. So Crocodile, I'm still I don't know. I don't think Crocodile's a Celestial Dragon.
It doesn't need to be, but how weird would it? Because it's like, because there's also the reason why I'm painting this picture, and the reason I don't want to expand on it, this could be a whole separate conversation. If Shanks is a Celestial Dragon and Shanks and Buggy are buddy, do we think that Buggy is also a Celestial Dragon? And then it's weird because then it's like, are the Warlords Celestial Dragon coded? If we think Mihawk is, and there's an inkling that Crocodile could be somehow related. People also think that of Buggy. Like, I'm not saying that's a full theory. I think it's like a little bit above Crocodile in terms of how many people think that.
We saw like the 20 Kings last chapter, right? And then one of them had like a weird round nose. So it's like, okay, like maybe that could be like,
And then if we're thinking Doflamingo runs up to like he joins, he is a bona fide Celestial Dragon. So then are they Celestial? Because that would be crazy. I
don't think all the Warlords are Celestial Dragons.
Would you think that's cool, or would you think that's lame? If they were all Celestial Dragons.
If they were all Celestial Dragons, I think it's kind of lame.
Lame? Yeah, I was thinking like, oh, that's too much.
But yeah, it's too much though, right? Because then like what? We have Jinbei, we have Law, Blackbeard was a Celestial Dragon. Like we have a lot of Celestial Dragons, or a lot of Warlords that cannot be Celestial Dragons.
All the Warlords, but it's more like, because like I have a whole video about how all the Warlords are basically all substantiated by the Celestial Dragons. Like whether they're fruits, like there's something connecting them to the world government. Like the world government almost single-handedly created each one of them to become the character they are. Jinbei is not absolved from that either.
Yeah,
like he literally became one so that he could protect his country, and like if they hadn't push the Fishman Island button, he'd never become a warlord. He might not even get the notoriety that he would get amongst all of the pirates, right? Like there's an interesting connection all there, but the ones that I'm saying that would be the Celestial Dragon, like Celestial Dragon coded, would be the ones that might be the division, right? Like if Boa doesn't join Cross Guild and Jinbei doesn't join Cross Guild and the original ones don't join Cross Guild, it would be that the ones that did, those might be weirdly part of the thing, and that's a whole fun conversation, because I was thinking about it, like they freed Doflamingo. Doflamingo's crazy because he's a Celestial Dragon, but if we think Mihawk is one and there's a world where Crocodile is one, then let's not even bring Buggy into it. If they show up at Impel Down and it's Crocodile, Mihawk, and Doflamingo, if we have a panel where they're all together, I would think that's meaningful. I would think that there's some kind of Celestial Dragon kind of thing going on.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, I believe the Buggy one, I believe Mihawk, Doflamingo, 100%. Crocodile, I'm still iffy about. Like, I'm really open to it.
Yeah.
But right now, there's nothing hinting towards it for me yet.
It's one of those cases where each individually there's a world where it is, and them all being together doesn't give merit. It doesn't add to it. It actually takes away from it. In my mind, at least. Like,
Yeah.
normally in theories this would add to the theory, but in this case I don't know if I like it. It's weird.
Yeah.
I have to think about it more.
So going on with the chapter though, we forgot to mention this too. I like panned over like down the next page. We talked about Sengoku and Suru, but we forgot to talk about like where they're going because we see that they're on a ship.
Yeah.
What do you think they're heading off to? Cross Guild, Garp, or some third party mission?
I've always thought Cross Guild.
Cross Guild?
Yeah.
So you think they're going to Karibari Island?
Yep, empty bluffs, baby. I think that's it makes sense. I think like to run it back, like, but people probably remember from like videos and past streams that all the other Yonkos have had notoriety in the news.
Yeah.
And so like Luffy's in the news right now for the Vegapunk stuff, and he's fighting the Gorosei, whatever. So if that comes out, that's all there. Shanks beat Buggy or Kid, so that's in the news, and we know that seems to be the case because Buggy sees that he's making a move. Blackbeard beat Law, whether that's in the news we don't know, but Blackbeard also has Garp, so like that's newsworthy. We know that Garp is missing, he's on Pirate Island, so that's Blackbeard's W. So we don't need to add W's to anywhere else to add like the whole thing. It'd be the Yonko Buggy took down the former fleet admiral, and the former fleet admiral took siege on Buggy and lost. That would be the case, and that's like the main idea. I never put out the full video, but I explained it so many times on various streams and conversations. But there's a few more details, but I just feel like because that's what he said, literally like, oh damn, they're putting bounties on Marines. That's a problem. We should stop them. And then boom, next time we see them, they're on a ship. It seems like, and Suru's with them, and you know, I feel like it just makes sense that they would be going there. And I don't think Suru, if they lose, I don't think Suru gets like loses or not loses, gets captured. I think it would just be Sengoku. But it is still interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think Cross Guild or what's it called? Garp are bad answers, honestly. I think they're both good.
Yeah. Not mad. Not mad at the other
I would love a
option.
Sengoku versus Blackbeard thing though, just because it was like it's a callback to Marineford, and Sengoku would be like after his old friend, like, hey, like release my good friend Garp. I've known this guy for a long ass time.
The reason why I don't think, because I've talked about the Hachinosu situation, and it panned out the way I thought it would in my like at the very end of my Bogard video. I said separately what I think will happen in the rest of the series, and it lined up right. Like as far as no one would Garp would end up getting captured or killed. You know, some people think he's dead. I don't agree with them, but it was one or the other, and everyone else would leave. He would save everybody, and no one would help him. And I just think that between Garp and Kuzan, there's enough there that like something between that is going to happen. I don't think anyone needs to intervene for there to be a story to be told on that front between Garp, Kuzan, and whether Mori is there or Blackbeard shows up. I think that's a full boat, and Sengoku going the other way would be the thing. And then it's also kind of the thing where it's like the logic I was saying is like all of Garp's contemporaries believe in Garp, even to his death. Like if he dies, it's one of those things where it's kind of like Luffy and Sabo and like Ace, like what Zoro said, like they have their own things and they're capable, right? And so like I think Sengoku feels the same way about Garp. And yeah, if it was said that Garp died and there was like a death picture, like would Sengoku run for revenge? I don't think so.
But yeah, like for Sengoku, like I could see, I don't know, like I know you said that Garp and Kuzan can give us a lot already, and I agree with that. But I feel like Sengoku could add another layer because Sengoku also trusted Kuzan too, right? He wanted Kuzan to become Fleet Admiral, so I think it could add an interesting dynamic. But
true,
like I said, like whether it's Hachinosu, whether it's Empty Bluffs Island, I feel like Sengoku's gonna be awesome. I think a question would just be if they're even still at Empty Bluffs, because Buggy just got the Big Top Blaster. You know, we don't know where Crocodile is in this chapter. Like, they could be leaving. So I have no idea. But yeah, like, going on to the last part, so we got two things left. We
Mhm.
got York and her fumble, or three things: York, her fumble, the location of the Den Den Mushi, and then Roger. So we're gonna speedrun the York part. York is a buffoon. She's like, wait, none of this is making sense. Stella's supposed to be a bad actor. He acted. I don't know how this is all like going down. He was getting the news. He was getting the news about Lucia. He took the readings. Like, what the hell is going on here? Nothing makes sense. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't hide the broadcast snail. He's proudly displaying it. And then that is when we get the reveal that the ancient giant is the one who is guarding it. York calls in the Gorosei. We get Saturn, Mars, Venus receiving the message. I'm sure the other Gorosei hear it too, but it doesn't look like they're responding to York in this page. So it's just Saturn, Mars, and Venus. And I think they're the ones who are going to fight the ancient robot. But also, they're the ones who have been actively looking for the Denden Mushi as well. Warkity has been fighting Luffy, and Jupiter is too busy sucking up Cypherpole agents, which I have no idea what the hell's going on there. Do you think he's saving the Cypherpole agents, or do you think he's actively hurting them? It could be a Norse situation where inside of Jupiter is an entire city, and it'll keep them safe until he spits them back out. I have no clue. But where do you fall on that?
I've been on the, like, in my mind, the thing that makes sense is saving them, but like it's weird for the character because they don't care about the insects, but like Cypherpole might be different, but they've said, like, even like Mars literally said, I don't even like CP0 agent Kaku, I don't think I could spare him, right? But then we got to note, like, Venus cut them away free so that they'd be spared from whatever destruction's up there, and Jupiter is bringing them the mouth. And then my thought, is what you're saying. It's like, I guess he's trying to protect them, but then it's like, what happens if he can he go back into human form? Or like, because what happens if he goes in, are they just
it'll be like Ant-Man. You know how like people said Ant-Man's gonna kill Thanos by like going to his butthole and expanding? Maybe it'll be the same thing for Jupiter. Like, he goes back into human form while these guys are inside, and they're just like like a Mortal Kombat fatality. Which that actually is one. I forgot who did that, but
they did that in the What If. Ant-Man, the evil, like, not the evil, but the original Pym, I forgot his name. Pym, Dr. Pym or whatever.
Yeah.
He in the What If, he exploded like Thanos, or no, he exploded Hulk. Yeah, he went inside the Hulk and just exploded him.
Oh, they did that in The Boys too. In The Boys, I think it was the first episode, there was a guy who had a power to get really tiny, and they used it for sex, where he would crawl inside people's like genitals and he would like massage it's so crazy. He would massage the insides, and what happened is that he sneezes and then he goes back to regular size, and then they're like, ah. It's crazy. Boys episode 1 or 2. Shout outs. Good show. Ignore that part. It was a one-off gag. You know, don't let that one scene, taint your image of the show. But season 4 comes out next month.
That happens to Jupiter though, so
I hope that doesn't happen to Jupiter.
But I agree on the notion of like what you said about Vegapunk, and I also agree sliding by that, because in a previous conversation, I mentioned like how what Vegapunk was doing, like, was he acting, or like what happened during that time skip in that thing. Like, I have a video for that, but I put it on the back burners for the Mother Flame video. But now, because of this, 100% gonna put it out. But like, it's just kind of funny because like York is so goofy, because like she's like, I can't fathom like how he figured it out. It's like, bro, you're a giant lady, bro. Like, how do you not get noticed? There's cameras anywhere and you didn't do anything about those cameras. And it's like, you have no way of shutting them down. You have to apparently manually pick them away. And so it's like, yeah, you didn't synchronize, but you're caught in 4K. Like, doesn't that count for something? We
don't know that the cameras caught her, right? Like, maybe Vegapunk did something else. Like, cameras is like the easiest solution. But what if Vegapunk is like, yo, like, the Mother Flame went missing, and then he pulls out like a schedule and say, okay, like starts marking the X's, like, okay, this person was over here, that person was over there. The only person that could have done this is York.
My point is that there's so like the problem is that you just came up with another solution, and York can't fathom how did they figure it out? How is it possible? But you were surprised.
Here's another thing too. So the way I inferred it, and I've believe it or not, people have been debating this too, but did Stella know that York was the traitor? Because York does say, like, I know for a fact you are a terrible liar. You were genuinely surprised, right? And then it cuts to Vegapunk acting, and it's like, he could be acting, but what if Vegapunk was actually shocked that it was York? Like, what if he knew that there was an evil satellite, but he didn't know who it was 100%?
I think I have to plead the fifth on that one because I don't want to leak what I think. But I think like the acting thing makes a lot of sense if you uh question if you okay, I guess there's a detail in um the clones, like how Stella explained how the clones work, and how he described them in that chapter. It could explain exactly what is happening with Stella here, and it and the other clue I'll give is that it lines up with one of the things that a lot of people used when they were trying to figure out who the traitor was. There's a plot element that everybody thought was very important, and then when it turned out to be York and it wasn't important, people were like, "Oh, that's so lame." And I was like, "No, what if it was important? It just wasn't important for that part. It was important for Stella." And that's all I'll say because I know that's enough of a clue. I think that most people
Yeah.
probably know there's one chapter to look at, and then there's a clue that like literally
It
everybody talked about.
right now it feels like Vegapunk has another ace up his sleeve. Like outside of the snail, I think Vegapunk has something else planned. Yeah. Now that we have like the Gorosei versus the ancient robot, who do you
Mm.
think is going to win, or how do you think this is going to turn out? Do you think the Gorosei will be able to take him down?
Well, now I think it's time we finally reveal your comment about the peak of humanity.
Oh yeah, the ancient robot having tiny legs. It's kind of crazy, really, right?
Yeah,
Like you
this
see
is
this hulking body. They gave this guy a stomach. They gave him like big arms, but they gave him the smallest legs imaginable, which is insane considering that this isn't even a real person. I mean, well, it's sentient, but they cooked this up in a lab and they said,
yeah,
hey,
like
we're gonna
this
give
isn't
this
a
guy small
clone.
legs.
This isn't a clone. There's no restriction on the blueprint. They chose this design.
Yeah, like Kaido, for example. Like maybe all Onis have small legs. Sure. Well, I guess there's Yamato, but
Yeah.
that kind of disproves that. But like maybe people, they just have bad genetics. They can't grow leg muscles. They can't get buffer legs. But this
Or
ancient robot could. This ancient robot could easily just say, hey guys, can you make me a big leg? But no,
yeah.
they gave this guy tiny legs. And you know what it is? In One Piece, tiny legs do equal power.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting him to hold up against the Gorsei. Will he
So
win? I don't think so. I feel like the broadcast will get cut off. I feel like we can't have the Gorsei take this big of an L where Vegapunk's message goes out 100%, maybe like 99% or 90%, then the Gorsei stop it. Maybe the Seraphim pop in here. Or maybe Luffy just runs out of energy because it is being fueled by Luffy's heartbeat. So maybe that is what wins them the fight.
from what we
Like,
know, yeah.
yeah. Like Luffy's
Like
heartbeat
like
goes out and then all of a sudden the ancient robot just turns off again.
like the question of what's powering it, the like so I have a video on this giant and the mother flame thing, and connecting the two, and my explanation provides a reason for how it revived 200 years ago, which reasonably we have to kind of say that like if Nika never, according to the Gorsei, Nika hadn't awakened for 800 years, which means that Nika wasn't there 200 years ago, which would then make it bring into question not necessarily is Luffy powering the ancient giant. I think that yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. But is it necessarily that like if Luffy leaves, does it shut down? Or more along the lines of like, is there something adjacent to Luffy that could be powering? And that's what that video explains.
Yeah.
But like I hadn't yesterday when we were on stream, I hadn't factored in the Seraphims fighting it. I feel like the Seraphims have a better time fighting this legendary Iron Giant, but considering the lore of this Iron Giant was that it successfully raided Marriage Raw. And I say successfully in the scope of the only reason why it didn't succeed allegedly was because it powered down and they had no way of destroying it. And so if the Gorosei are immortal or Emu is from the Void Century, and the Gorosei are from the Void Century, then they should know what this is. And if they're not capable of destroying it themselves, why give it to other people to do that? Why, if you know what it is and you know that like other people can't destroy it and you can't destroy it, whatever, why delegate that, right? And so Vegapunk, uh, when people brought up the theory, which I love that this is confirmed like so quickly, because a lot of people came up with the theory that like the Denden Mushi Vegapunk put it in when we were introduced to him, and he was like half in the thing, and that's why he did that. I love that idea, And I also love that idea because I said before, like when we're talking about it, that like in a real way, the legendary Iron Giant without Luffy being on the island, the legendary Iron Giant is the safest place to put the Dendenmushi. It's something that is beyond Vegapunk. The only thing on the island is beyond anything that Vegapunk can do, create, or even fathom. And in a similar way, Luffy is like that too. So it's like because Luffy wasn't in the cards originally, and Luffy wasn't in the like when he made this recording, I don't know if Luffy was there. Right? It doesn't make sense for him to be in that boat. So then Vegapunk was using this because this is the one thing from the ancient kingdom that he could not recreate and he had. So reasonably the safest thing. And that idea is huge because then it tells you that Vegapunk was anticipating like a lot. The fact that he had to resort to this, you know, when we go back to the beginning of Egghead, when he has a laser dome and it's like, oh, the Cypher Pole are just here, like this will hold us back, will hold them back, right? But then you got to think like they were regarding the laser dome as this like end all be all protection thing. Vegapunk at that point knew that the laser dome was not that, and he opted to put the Dendemushi outside of the dome in the thing because it's safer. And that says a lot. And that says a lot about how he recorded the message. That says a lot about what he was expecting. That says a lot about what the death, like that, yeah, he was planning on dying, period. Like, so there's a whole bunch of things to take into consideration with that. And going back to the Iron Giant part, given the weight that Vegapunk gave it, given the weight that it just has, given the aura that it looks like it has, given that it's the legendary Iron Giant from the Void Century that couldn't be destroyed 200 years ago, I'm kind of confused at how because like the Gorsei haven't even regarded it. They don't really know. They haven't said a single thing about it, and like I don't know if they've shown anything to me that like this iron. Because the other thing that we've seen is the Iron Giant has been impervious to everything. So it's like I think this thing is just the Juggernaut that just allow like maybe they're able to like stop the message, but like I said this yesterday, it's like at this point, like they would be stopping like 90 or 1% of the message. They let 99% leak through and there's 1%. And maybe that 1% is the most important part, sure. But it's like that 99% is kind of bad too. And then like
No, yeah,
to the point
I mean,
that
it's not good, but
yeah,
you gotta still try, you know?
I like, and then Vegapunk, like he's already talked on Nika. I get like you said, like maybe the Ancient Kingdom name, sure. I could see that. But then also that I like my idea of like if the Gorsei were trying to stop the Dendenmushi versus using Conqueror's Haki, unless like maybe I like your idea and I like my idea where it'd be crazy if the Ancient Kingdom created like allowed this thing to have Conqueror's Haki so it clashes with them and they have to destroy it. They can't use Conqueror's Haki to disable the Dendenmushi. But and then either way, I like your idea too. What if the Ancient Kingdom had like anti-hockey tech? That would be insane. And if that's the case, and it's like, yo, the Gorsei, I don't know what they can do, right? Because that's crazy if that's the case. It's
Yeah.
all wild though. He definitely has aura. The Iron Giant has aura though.
Yeah, he does, he does. I just look at him and I'm like, man, I hate robots.
This is what I was saying though, that like Chopper in Ennie's lobby, that monster point thing had this aura.
Oh
Like it
yeah,
was
yeah.
that scary. Yeah, back then.
Yeah,
I
back
just don't
then.
want it to be goofy. You know what I mean?
You know this guy's gonna be goofy though, right? Like when we get that Joe Boy
After.
flashback, this guy's gonna be like laughing. He might even be like younger, all pristine, shiny. Like he's probably gonna be super goofy back in the past. Like same with Zunisha, right? Zunisha wasn't always that tall,
Okay,
so
here's
it's like
the
yeah,
thing. They could be goofy. They can have
they're gonna get
parts.
chopperfied, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So I've always not rude. I worry about the flashback where we see Zunisha dancing to the Jones of Liberation. That's gonna look so I don't know. And now like this Iron Giant, imagine a dancing Sai. Are you quitting One Piece or are you
Nah.
dancing along?
I just ignore those I ignore all the dancing and singing panels. The minute they whip
Damn,
out
you
Bink
hate
Sake, I'm
dancing?
like, nah. What's
Wait,
up?
can you dance?
I can dance. I just don't like dancing though. But I'm talking like formal dance though.
Like
I can't like break
like
a move at the club.
salsa, like
Yeah.
salsa, bachata, like you did like that classical
Actually,
dancing.
yeah, funny enough.
Yeah, I mean you look like it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm just not a big like song and dance kind of guy.
yeah. I mean, hey, if there's anything to worry about the Void Century, it's the day when this thing starts doing the two step.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of song and dance pretty soon. So
Yeah.
I've already like made my peace with it. You know, I love One Piece. I'll stick with it. You know, it's
Okay. I think I just figured out Sai's favorite version of the Void Century because it would make you 100% Celestial Dragon, 100% Emu's right.
stop the
What
music.
if, yeah, what if the Void Century, what if before the Void Century, everything was a musical? You
Well,
couldn't
I
turn
think
off
we're gonna end the Parcast here, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. I know we didn't talk about the Roger part.
No, we
but
did earlier.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we didn't get like super in depth with like Rayleigh and stuff, but we didn't talk about it too much. We might talk about it later. We'll see. But
mean,
we
we
did
talked
cover
about it
the
on the
rest of the
stream.
chapter.
Yeah, and we talked about the Rayleigh stuff more in depth on stream.
Yeah. But hey, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Party, you got any words you want to end off on?
Look forward to the 50-50 during the break week
Oh yeah.
because we have a break week coming up, and
Yes.
you guys know
It's gonna
that
happen. Every single break week, we make a new 50-50.
Yeah, and you know it's gonna happen because me and Sai switched color coding. We coordinated because I usually wear the white shirt and he usually wears the black shirt, and today
We switched over
let's
today.
flip it. Yeah, to show you guys our commitment to this
yin and
endeavor. Yin yang
So
endeavor.
we'll catch you guys later. Make sure to stay cobraing.